some Pokemon.
You just do the singing. I'll take care of the hard part.
Let's get it on.
I want to be the best that ever was. To beat all the rest, yeah, that's my cause. Electro, Diglett, Nidoran, Mankey, Venusaur, Rattata, Fearow, Pidgey, Seaking, Jolteon, Dragonite, Gastly, Ponyta, Vaporeon, Poliwrath, Butterfree. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon across the land, look far and wide. Release from my hand the power that's inside. Venomoth, Poliwag, Nidoran, Golduck, Ivysaur, Grimer, Victreebel, Moltres, Nidoking, Farfetch'd, Abra, Jigglypuff, Kingler, Rhyhorn, Fable, Wigglytuff. Be right back.
Catch 'em all, Pokemon! Zubat, Primeape, Meowth, Onix, Geodude, Rapidash, Magneton, Snorlax, Gengar, Tangela, Golding, Spearow, Weezing, Seal, Gyarados, Slowbro! Yeah. Catch 'em all, yeah.
Catch 'em all, Pokemon! Ow! Kabuto, Persian, Paris, Horsey, Raticate, Magnemite, Kadabra, Weepinbell, Ditto, Cloyster, Caterpie, Sandshrew, Venusaur, Charmander, Golem, Pikachu! At least 150 or more to see. To be a Pokemon master is my destiny. Doesn't go to feel that macho, Kangaskhan, Hypno, Electabuzz, Flareon, Blastoise, Poliwhirl, Oddish, Drowsy, Raichu, Nidoking, Bellsprout, Starmie! Whew.
Doing great so far.
What's all this weird stuff? I'm doing all the hard work.
Break time's over. Here we go.
Letterbod, Melwa, Kakuna, Clefairy, Dodria, Seadra, Vileplume, Gambit, Lickitung, Tauros, Weedle, Nidoran, Machop, Shelter, Porygon, Hitmonchan! Yeah.
Catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah. Articuno, Jinx, Nidorino, Beedrill, Hunter, Squirtle, Chansey, Pokemon, Parasect, Execute, Mach, Dugong, Pidgeotto, Lapras, Vulpix, right on! At least 150 or more to see. To be a Pokemon master is my destiny. Berserk, Machamp, Pinsir, Coughing, Dodrio, Golbat, Staryu, Magikarp, Ninetales, Ekans, Omastar, Scyther, Tentacle, Dragon, and Magmar. She's got those lips. There's 24 more to go. Now it gets tricky, so listen real good. Sandslash, Himmelmeer, Psyduck, Arcanine, Eevee, Executor, Kaboot, Top Zapdos, Shitini, Growlithe, Mr. Mime, Cubo, Graveler, Voltorb, Bloom. We're almost home.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Charmeleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacle, Aerodactyl, Amanite, Slowpoke. That's all, folks. Woo. Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Ooh, gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Now, of course,
Hopefully that's not against copyright tax.
I mean, if it does, like I said, I haven't made money in this podcast ever, so it's fine.
Yeah.
While I was doing that, you may have heard me run out for a second. I had to give Ed a Father's Day gift.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah, he's opening it live on camera, and it is the thing missing from his collection.
Oh my goodness.
A shiny Litwick, hand crocheted by Calvina.
Oh my god, that is so cool.
It's the shiny blue flame green eye.
Holy smokes.
Yep, that is a 1 in 1024.38 with the shiny charm.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh,
Happy Father's Day again, Ed.
thank you. Thank you, Calvino. Oh my god, this is so incredible. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's so big.
It's a giant hand crocheted Litwick, shiny Litwick.
They get to go sit next to my neck, my first ever main guy.
Hell yeah.
I have a whole army of Litwicks.
Yeah,
over
a
there.
massive army. Now we have the biggest one ever.
So, a very, very visual showing here.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Well, hey, honestly, I was thinking, just like, inside baseball, for the actual episode picture, I was probably going to have you take a picture of some of your Pokemon stuff, probably all your Litwicks and everything, for like the main episode image. We'll see, future Matt. Let's see if you followed up with that. But
Take a
yeah.
picture at the end of that. Because like I'll just put them like it all and just
Yeah, just all hanging out.
Gosh, that is incredible.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit.
Oof.
Oh. Oof my goof.
Oof, Magoof indeed.
In a good way.
So yeah, we are here with Action Toon Burrows.
Wait, what?
Action 2. I did the same thing on Calvin's recording of what we're going to get to eventually. I don't know, my fucking brain rotted from too many episodes. I have like near 100 episodes of Action Toon Bros, honestly, so sorry for the mix-up.
Ironically, though, we probably have more time recorded.
More time, yes, probably movie garbage.
Which is what this is, Dumpster Divers, as I say my catchphrase, super famous catchphrase.
Yeah, number 27, Dumpster Divers. This is movie garbage. We watched Pokemon, the movie I Choose You, not to be confused with Pokemon, the first movie, or Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back, which was a remake that came out 2 years after this.
The CG one.
Yeah, the CG remake. Or
I could actually watch that one.
Hell yeah. I was like, or the first episode of Pokemon, the anime, called I Choose You, which was,
feel like that was
the specific inspiration for this movie's title.
So, we didn't even introduce ourselves yet, 100% by the way.
I mean, hopefully they know who we are by this time, but yeah.
So I'm just gonna say a thing. I am Hex Girl Ed Bobacek. And joining me is
Bugcatcher Matthew Lewis.
Hey.
Yeah. But
yes,
yeah.
When you said we're doing Pokemon, I was like so excited.
I could imagine.
Ironically, even though I haven't really it's been a weird week. Like I said, I spent 9 days and went through 7 shows of following the Soap Girls.
Oh, yeah,
It's Father's Day, we recorded this today. We didn't do any recordings before.
No. First time recording. First thing recorded all day.
But like I was supposed to get home on Friday. I didn't get home until Saturday, and then even then, I was just gotta do much.
Hey man, yeah, we have had a lot of recording to do as of this part. I don't even know if we're going to get to it, but we have multiple things that we're going to get to, including a bunch of call-in interviews from our friends of the podcast, people who've been on different shows and stuff like that in the past. Just to extend this a bit, the goal is to see if we can get a super long. I don't know if we will get longer than our record Marvel episode, but it's going to be a gamble.
The biggest trick is going to be when we start the film itself. But even then,
it's pretty quick. But
talking about honestly though, watching the film, I feel like I remembered parts of it. I don't know if
have you seen it. I definitely have not seen it before, except for I've seen reactions to the infamous scene on theaters. We'll get to that scene when we get to it. But theater reactions to that bit I've seen, but I've never watched this movie before.
I feel like I had seen parts of it. The kids might have watched it one time or something. It might have been on in the background somewhere. I feel like I remembered or recognized parts, but I never watched it beginning to end and knew what it was.
Yeah.
But it, the way you would kind of explain it initially was that it was kind of like a slight retelling of
a retelling for the new anime series.
And it was, and I think that ironically that really influenced me a lot in this film. Because there was a lot I watched. I'm I wish this wasn't just a movie. Mm-hmm. And then there was other stuff I was like, I see where this being a movie. Ironically, my biggest takeaway from this whole movie, spoiler, is this should not have been just a movie. This actually could have been a reboot of the OG series and would have been really good. Yeah,
I will say that Calvina, during her interview, does refer to it as just episodes of a show. It felt like 3 or 4 episodes of a show put together or released. But of course, I'll say also spoiler alert, she does not have positive opinions on the movie. but we'll get to specific grabs narrative what our opinions and stuff over the course of these next episodes.
Overall, I will say if this. What could have made this really good was the main plot of this film, because they had to spend the opening kind of reintroducing us into these concepts. There were parts that could have you could easily taken the main plot kind of portion, expanded it out some, and it actually would have worked in the frame of this being a movie in the middle of a series that they did. Because honestly, some of the characters were really good. Yeah, and characters I thought wasn't gonna or thought were whatever. I came around.
Yeah, I will say that I definitely have numbers of opinions, but of course, in typical Matthew podcast fashion, we are not going to get to the movie anytime soon.
Because we have
tangents upon tangents upon tangents, and of course, as I always do, we got to start broad as possible, down to eventually maybe talking about some tertiarily related opinions on the movie before that. But big giant open thing. This is both an anime movie and technically kind of a video game movie. Did you want to get into anime movies first or video game movies? Recent stuff, I mean.
Let's do anime, because I don't know how much I'll have on those.
Okay. I
will talk plenty later.
Yeah,
so.
I think this is the second anime after the Digimon movie that we did, which we probably will be comparing to later on.
Oh, 100%.
But
100% we will.
But I will say that
this is our really our only.
Is it first? It's like an animated movie, and it is a second anime movie. Yeah, we did do a couple of animated films over on movie garbage. Too many podcasts. Action Toon Bros. But yeah, I'll say recent anime movies. I've mentioned it before as one of my favorite series ever, Overlord. Volumes of the light novel, I believe it was 12 and 13, are called The Sacred Kingdom, parts 1 and 2. Basically, Ainz, the main overlord dude, like fucking pretty much starts a massive war in a country just for the point of selling merch. Millions of people die and huge important people are killed, but he's literally just trying to fucking pimp out nice. he's trying to pimp out his like new like merch that he's trying to sell. Like I said, Overlord, the series about a like level 100 character in a world where like the strongest person is like level 20, and everyone else is like very serious characters, and he's like a fucking goofy wild character who's like unintentionally evil. Yeah, I mentioned it on the Digimon episode.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the.
I feel like you mentioned it more recently, though.
It was the only isekai thing we've covered. Isekai related thing, I think.
The Monster Hunter would have been what you mentioned.
Yeah, actually, that would have been isekai. Yeah, Overlord.
Like I don't remember mentioning it on Digimon, but I remember you mentioning it.
Yeah, Overlord. Probably there. Yeah, the Sacred Kingdom movie was an anime movie, an adaptation of volumes 12 and 13. An incredible movie. Like just like Inside Baseball, there's like a huge meme about one of the characters who like dies very early on, and it was pretty much a gag character, and like when people read the book and stuff like that. But during the adaptation, people actually like learned to actually care about the character, and like besides just being a meme, the person's like hugely loved now, which is really fucked up. But like it's a great movie that's adaptation, and unlike other the movie is Overlord: The Sacred Kingdom.
That was a movie of the show.
Yeah. It's a movie. It's a movie from the show, and like the show adapts the 16 novels, but they skipped this arc, and so they just made these two novels into one movie to like save animation budget, because you know animation takes years and years and years to do. Yeah. But like a lot of other Dragon Ball movies and stuff like that, they like a lot of the times they'll have them like narratively not be specifically like in any kind of feasible or like point-to-able time period in the thing, because like half the Dragon Ball Z movies, it's impossible for those to take place in any kind of chronological order, so they have their own continuity, which is very, very weird.
I mean, I feel like at times, I know I'm jumping in at Pokemon, but I feel like, I haven't watched all of the films, but I feel like there's a lot of them that kind of do the same here and there for the most part.
Yeah, just a random adventure that like not really sinks into the episodes, like episode-wise.
But it's just you could easily say, like, oh, it was after this one and before this.
Yeah.
But where exactly it falls. Yeah. I mean, and in general, too, I feel like with, like, especially, like I even know, like, One Piece, a lot of their films
movies, it's impossible.
Are non-canon.
Yeah.
Or are, like, isn't there, like, one where it's, like, a retelling of Drum Kingdom with, like,
there's a couple, at
Brooke
at one point, they just there's, like, 3 or 4 movies that are just retellings of, like, Alabaster, or retelling of, like Skypiea, just, like, a single, like this, it's just a single movie to, like, encapsulate the full arc. There's a couple of those, like, a bunch of them on the Netflix thing.
Yeah. I mean, One Piece is, I feel like comparatively too, like One Piece would be a really good comparison.
Well, I mean, spoiler for more Inside Baseball. It was actually between this movie for Pokemon or one of the One Piece movies that I was going to pick for our like billion-hour-long episode.
I will say, I think you saved that one for our eventual One Piece.
I would say,
podcast, which is totally coming someday.
It was going to it was going to be a backdoor pilot for our eventual One Piece thing. But I will say that more Inside Baseball. Like I mentioned earlier, we are coming up on episode 100 of Action Toon Bros. So who knows what it'll be? What could happen on episode 100 of Action Toon Bros? Stick around, One Piece fans. Cough, cough. But I mean, hopefully my co-hosts will be able to join me for that. All my co-hosts will be able to join me for whatever that's going to be eventually. And the reason I didn't pick One Piece in the end is because nearly every single One Piece movie is incredibly positively received and has very high scores on Rotten Tomatoes and amongst reviewers and fans. Whereas this and a couple of many other Pokemon movies do not. So, also One Piece movies are like universally wildly successful. They like make so much money, it's insane. The One Piece movies. The Pokemon movies are a little more hit or miss after the first one, which blew everybody's mind, which we'll get to a billion years from now.
For me, like I think that the first 3 is always being like highly received.
Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, we'll get to the Pokemon too, but yeah, the One Piece movies are all like universally loved, and like in regards to canon or not, whatever one we end up doing or not, who knows. There's a couple things that are like weren't canon. There's a couple characters like Rock's pirate crew. There's a couple of characters that pop up in the movies as like boss villains that they're like the narrative's about, and that the movie.
I think I remember hearing about one of them.
There's 2 different movies that have characters who were Rock's pirates that are like super big, unbeatable mega bosses for Luffy to have to deal with now.
I believe it.
One was at God Valley, the other joined a little bit after God Valley.
And I even know too, like,
was too young.
in general, like, I know Shiki was in the movie.
Yeah, Shiki's that's the golden
and
movie I
like
was going to
he
do.
is referenced in the show, but
Yeah.
never shown really,
Yeah.
and like is
The movie,
massive.
the movie was years and like probably like maybe like 8 or 9 years before his appearance in God Valley. The movie was, and he said like, "Yeah, I'm Shiki. I was part of Rox's crew. Rox's crew. That's who Big Mom and Kaido are from. And that's all you got." And then he was like a big villain in the movie. But like now we know Rox is a fucking G and a half. It was like, so
Honestly,
hey, save it for the One Piece podcast. But yeah,
I would say real quick, like Rox in general is a very surprisingly interesting character.
He came in for a flashback and literally stole this 1,000-chapter 30-year-old anime from the protagonist. Like, holy shit.
But at the same point, like, do we throw out spoilers for One Piece here?
I mean, we can start, but we can't get too specific because we gotta save that for the eventual
I was
podcast.
gonna say the fact that that's the father of Blackbeard.
I know. Yeah. Well,
Blackbeard feels. I don't see. It's weird. I don't like Blackbeard anymore because of Rocks, but I'm intrigued by him more.
I mean, I was talking to Ben about who's the final, what's going on as of this recording in One Piece. One of the potential endgame bosses is now fighting the people, so it's like, okay, well, that person's not out for the final.
Well, now we're in another flashback.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think we were going to get for this character.
This arc is just flashback after awesome flashback, but like...
We were getting a Brooks flashback.
Yeah, now.
Holy shit. And like, talk about, man, Brooks' backstory is getting harder.
Hell yeah.
This dude...
He had the worst life ever, but that's why he's so fucking awesome.
I will say this, the actor they chose to play him in the live action, perfect, and his slight cameo was awesome.
I was gonna say that's another one of my I was gonna say another one of my anime movies I mentioned because like I just like the Overlord, when I saw the One Piece theater event, it was a Fathom event. They played the first 3 episodes in theater. I think maybe either 2 or 3. I can't remember, but like they played them in theaters, and it was fucking the production value. It felt like I was watching a fucking awesome ass fucking movie. I think it was the first 2 because it was where the fuck where Rogers was killed.
Loketown,
and then
Loketown or Road Town. I can't remember which.
It depends on the Japanese, you know.
I would say also I might be.
It should be Rogue, but I bet it was Logue.
4 Kids also I know had a
don't fuck up anything.
Our brains.
Yeah.
Zoro and Zolo.
Yeah, Zolo. But I was gonna say that it was that episode or the entire bit with that. I don't remember if that was 1 episode or 2, and then into the Grand Line entrance. So it ended before Laboon.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a Fathom event that in theaters, and it felt like a fucking huge production movie because that fucking show's so incredibly produced. And yes, Rocks. My brain's going fucking now. Skeleton dude, Brooke, incredible in the fucking show. Absolutely fucking incredible.
I think that's one thing that's really nice too about the live action show is that because it's able to retell it and has to do so in a way like it allows us to kind of get extra stuff into it.
Oh yeah,
like. They've been killing with the casting. I feel like
every single Oda himself has to choose people.
I'm gonna pronounce his last name wrong, but I think it's David Duchovny.
Damatsian.
His numbers 3 was incredible.
His last name is impossible to pronounce. I can't remember how it's pronounced. It's a very, very weird looking last name. But he's incredible in everything, and he's wonderful as Mr. 3. And he's like huge fan of the series too.
Even too like the people they cast for Miss Valentine and Mr. 5. I thought they did kick butt.
She's great. I love Valentine. Yeah, she's okay. Who's is Valentine the one of the Tun fruit?
Yeah, Kilo.
Okay.
Yeah, Tun fruit is
it's a different person. Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Everyone's incredible in that show. Everyone's also a lot of people are huge fans. Like I said, Oda himself has to hand choose the people,
and that's why people I remember there were people being mad about the Vivi choice. Like,
she's great. Like, she's wonderful in the show.
The fact that we have to justify the casting because Oda chose her is fucked up beyond reason. Like, who the fuck cares?
I mean, pieces of shit.
Fair.
It'll be pieces of shit. What else is new?
So I wanted to say too, like, honestly, my biggest complaint so far was like I wanted to see more of Wapple. I felt like he was
Wapples dude's great. I haven't finished the series yet. I'm like I am 1 or 2 episodes into Chopper's drum.
Oh yeah,
I'm like 1 or 2 in the drum bit. I think I'm like 2 from the end. I think is where I'm at.
Unfortunately, it felt a little different, and I get where he had to get cut down.
Yeah. The brother was a bit that came in later, I believe.
Yeah, he was actually in one of the movies. He was in the.
He was in a retail. He was in the retail.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in the retail movie.
Because he has, I believe, like the mushroom fruit or something.
Yep.
Because I remember when I was writing back in the day when I wrote fan fiction, I gave myself that fruit.
Nice.
No, I gave that to a random person I was going to fight because I got the smoke fruit.
Nice.
The moku fruit, and I remember they used it to create like a poisonous cloud, and ended up my fan fiction I wrote of it. The poison like gas gave me like mixed with the smoke and gave me like a tattoo that would change as I would go out of my forms.
Yeah. That's
so
funny.
you had the ice he no me.
Yeah, well, the glacier fruit. Yeah.
Cold fruit.
Yeah.
I think it was called the ice fruit in a lot of like the original translations.
Because there's also the snow fruit and all the.
Well, the snow fruit is its own.
Yeah, I know. That's what Monet had.
Yeah. She's dead though, so that fruit is technically.
It's out there somewhere.
Hunk Hazard.
Hunk Hazard. Yeah.
Hunk Bastard.
Yeah. But this is not. We'll get into One Piece on our eventual One Piece series.
It's coming.
It's coming someday. But like I was saying, otherwise anime movies. Besides the Sacred Kingdom, which I saw recently in theaters, another one I saw was a Gundam Hathaway: The Secret of Nymph Circle, which I went into thinking it was just a Gundam movie. I did not know it was part 2 of a trilogy, and I had no idea when that was taking place. So I was sitting there confused about these characters and what the hell was happening. And like, if you're familiar with Gundam, you know it is like 80% people talking in rooms, and like very small percent robot fights. And this is pretty much no different. Of course, I really like that because it's really fucking fantastic. It was basically some guy I didn't recognize was like on a shipping vessel, just like hiding out from the government, while like government people were talking in rooms very menacingly, and there was some kind of weird woman who was like a kept woman who was like a possible sex worker. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Who are these people? And then like eventually I realized, I was like, wait a minute, his name is Hathaway, like fucking Bright Noah. I think he was Hathaway Noah, who's Bright Noah, the person from the OG 70s Gundam's kid. And I was like, wait a second, that means I'm sitting here great with not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. I assume you don't follow Gundam shit, but like it was a brand new movie that's following the huge continuity of the war, and it was just like so beautifully animated, fantastically acted, like fucking incredible movie that I went in not knowing shit, and I came out loving it. And immediately when I got home, I watched part 1 on Amazon because it was so fucking good. The theater I go to, the one out in Valley View, they show anime movies like pretty regularly. So if you like,
that's the Regal out there, right?
I don't think it's a Regal. It's a
Valley View, right by the bridge, right?
Yeah, right by the bridge.
Unless they got bought out, then I'm pretty sure they're Regal.
I think it's its own people because it's a actually no, it's a let's see.
Valley View should be
Cinemark. It's a Cinemark.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a Cinemark because they have like their own little proprietary thing. But also, yeah, great theater. Love to watch anime movies there. Beyond that, also, like I said, the One Piece thing. The Dragon Ball movies, which don't make any sense in the continuity because it'd be like single episodes in the middle of arcs that it had to be taking place during because like it's impossible to place that kind of shit.
I feel like it's talking about like just in general animated, like. It is surprising how few films I feel like we get that are like genuine animation.
Yeah, 2D
nowadays, like 2D. Yeah,
very
we
rare.
get so much 3D, and like it is impressive what 3D can do. But like I still think of like one of the best like in general animated films to me was The Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt's fantastic.
Like just visually like what it's able to do, and I think like. I understand, like, there's, the technology moving forward. But, like, I feel like that is...
Also, animation, like we said, takes time and might be more expensive than some CGI options.
Oh, yeah. But, like, I mean, even then, like, CG-wise, like, I mean, the Spider-Verse films, like, that talk about, like, that style and the K-pop Demon Hunters, that weird, like, version of, like, a 3... It does feel... I mean, it's 3D, but it does have, like, a 2D, like, movements to it at times. Like, it's just that, like... comic style of it is impressive, and like I feel like we don't get enough like variations at times, and I think the problem is like there's not enough.
Yeah, when I look up like upcoming or current animated movies, it is still all 3D stuff,
and it's all like a lot of times too. Like I think unfortunately for a lot of animated in general, like 3D or 2D, it's a lot of kids. We don't get a lot of
Yeah.
adult themes.
That's what you have to aim for. And unfortunately, that's like one of the main things. Like anime is the only 2D animation that's like explicitly. I'm like not even 3D, but the Amazing Digital Circus finale movie.
I heard about that. Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet. I watched the show.
My kids watched the first 4 episodes. They used to love watching those.
Oh, okay,
I've never
yeah.
seen it.
I'm gonna say the show. Yeah, it is like
interesting.
It's interesting. It's like I would say it is like not like childhood down. It's I guess it's all ages technically, but it's like sometimes more mature. It like hints at more mature themes. Like they like bleep out. They like people will cuss, but it's like they're bleeped out and they can't like say the cuss words and stuff like that. But they do reference other stuff, and I hear that the movie is like it's also like there's a lot of really mature themes in it. But they just had the recent the finale movie was like in theaters. I remember, and I missed it because I was talking to Ben about going to see it, but I never got around to it. I know he saw it in theaters.
Yeah, it must have just left.
It was just in there for a very short time. Yeah,
I feel like I remember. I feel like in the last week or two I saw it.
It was like they only played for like 2 weeks, I think, or something like that.
So.
But yeah, I was looking up the upcoming animated movies. Is what I said specifically. And it's all been 3D, like Toy Story 5, the Paw Patrol movie I mentioned in our last episode of recording. There's a couple of other things. The Minions and Monsters.
That's right. I remember seeing the trailer for that.
There's a couple of other. Oh yeah, the Coyote versus Acme thing, which is that whole huge WB removing movies for scam purposes or whatever the fuck they were doing. That's finally getting actually released, so that's good. Yeah, a couple of other things like do you see the new Cat in the Hat is like the same color. But it's the
new Cat in the Hat.
It's in the same style as like Spider-Verse and stuff like that. It's very beautiful.
Okay, I thought they nailed it with Mike Myers, but
that was perfect. Yes, that was just like maybe that's another one we got to do eventually on the podcast. Did you see Goat? The Steph Curry.
The kids watched it.
I saw the trailers for it. It looked incredible, and I heard great things.
I feel bad. My son had wanted to watch that, and we didn't before he left for Florida here, and I didn't get a chance to watch it with him yet. So,
well, I was gonna say
he watched it at school and really liked it.
Really? Oh, that's cool. I was gonna say one that I know I have. Bad Guys is another one I saw. Looked great. I never saw it myself.
There's a sequel even.
I heard the second one. The second one's very good too. A movie that me and Ed, as actual, real, loyal, proper fans, did not watch. Of course, is the Avatar Aang movie.
That's out already.
Remember it leaked.
That's right. It did.
Yeah, and as real fans, we did not participate in that leak. We're going to support the artist.
We are against piracy.
We are against piracy. No, One Piece. But no, yeah. We're holding off on that sports marketing. We're holding off on that because I purposely did not watch that. I didn't look at anything about it. I want to stay as fresh as possible for when it comes out. Possibly cover it for movie because it's not a movie garbage show because it's actually probably legit going to be fantastic. So
I feel like that would be like a perfect if we were going to do like an actual true movie garbage action Toon Bros collab episode.
Well, because remember we covered all. You were on a bunch of the core episodes, so that makes sense.
I sure was. I think we all remember how correct I am. We all agree that I got the most correct knowledge of Korra.
Yeah, he was the most correct about that scene. We all black men. You say cut it off, or you just were like, yeah. Okay, but yeah, did you watch any of the Naruto movies?
Nope.
Honestly,
I feel bad because and reading them, I remember watching the anime a lot, and then right up around the 50 episode filler before the time skip. Yeah, I dropped off, and then even the manga,
it was 100 episodes, honestly, dude.
Then in the manga, I got to the point where they started bringing back people, and I never finished
The Great Ninja War.
Yeah, I never finished the series.
No. Well, you aren't missing much. Aliens and bullshit. It's not great.
Which is a shame because I feel like it. I mean, that's why I think it's impressive what One Piece is able to do because, I know that you could talk and there's criticisms on some of the things they do here and there, but for the most part, it feels I feel like I can jump into an arc and enjoy it more and everything, and I enjoy a lot of stuff. Naruto it got really rough.
I mean, Naruto legit fell off. I will admit that as somebody who stuck around all the way through the fucking Kaguya alien bullshit and the goofy end, which I'll say. The way that they defeated the final villain, now thinking about it even now this second, I'm still getting a little choked up that's pretty classic. No spoilers, but the weird super alien moon god that they fight, the way that he beats her is that he uses sexy no jutsu, the first thing he ever learned, to try to trick her. It's actually legit pretty like heartwarming. I'm like teared up thinking about it. But like honestly, it's pretty shitty otherwise. And then Boruto, I never even give a second thought about looking into Boruto ever. So
I have no problem with it.
Have you watched any of it?
Here's the thing I think, thinking about, like, with the two of them.
Yeah.
Because I know back in the day, they used to be, like, back and forth, like, Pirates versus Ninjas.
Naruto
versus One Piece. Like,
of the second three coming, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece.
Naruto, Bleach lost the war
Bleach fell behind very... I will say, after we talk about these, the aughts three for the millennials, like these three, One Piece stayed strong for 30 years. I think even dips were completely negligible.
Here's what I think.
You go ahead.
Here's what I would say. The thing about I never really got into Bleach, but like with Naruto and One Piece, I think one of the big strengths of One Piece is like the villain. The villain is shiftable, and the end goal is not a person or a target. Naruto always felt like. I don't know. I know like Naruto becoming like Hokage was like a big thing, but I think the problem was as time going on, it lost that focus.
Yeah.
So when you got some of these obstacles, those became the focus. In One Piece, like yes, you have the Alabasta arc and Crocodile becoming the villain, but like once he's defeated, there's still journey. You still have focus. Even like Kuma sending the whole crew off in Sabado Archipelago. I just pronounced that terribly wrong. I'm sure I did. There was a point, and then you had the whole Impel Down, which had a goal. Like everything, I feel like by making this One Piece this confusing, nebulous thing at the end of it all, and so many things to lead into it, it allows there to be these gaps of who the main the villain is here and there. But like Naruto lost that, and it made it. It just never. I feel like it never had a great end goal outside of somebody being defeated. Yeah, and I think that's where it gets lost. And I think sometimes you can have bad guys be the obstacle, but they cannot be the goal.
Yeah, I will say that. You touched on I don't know how on online communities in terms of anime that you are following currently, but there is a discussion. Not to keep this on One Piece, I'll put it back on topic for a second. That One Piece doesn't have a capital I iconic, like literal definition of the word iconic villain, compared to the other series. Now, I will say before I go into that, of course, keeping it on topic, Team Rocket, fucking literal icons, Jesse and James, Meowth, beautiful. Everyone recognizes them. People who don't watch anime recognize them. The thing that people were saying is like the Madara and even Zabuza early on stretch of Naruto. Zabuza, Big Sword, Stephen Bloom, first guy from Haku. But beyond him, Madara at the end of the series, hugely iconic. Kaguya, the stupid alien, for other reasons. But like Madara was a huge giant thing that people outside of anime saw that character and recognized it. Aizen from Bleach, who was like the surprise villain in like one of the major arcs of the series, and then kept being the villain, coming back more and more after that. Of course, people like fucking Dio from JoJo. People have never seen a single second of JoJo in their life. No fucking Dio. Like I said, Team Rocket. They said that One Piece itself, compared to the others, of course, Frieza or Cell or Boo, does not have a outside of the community blink and you'll fucking recognize it iconic villain. Now, like I said, we have to say that for the One Piece podcast. I know you will have opinions and a lot of them.
I actually see that criticism, and I do actually agree with it.
People who say that do still say One Piece the greatest anime of all time, regardless of that.
I'll say specific on that. That actually makes me think about this. And I could get you connected to Pokemon. So like, I agree. I can say like there is no iconic. There are big villains. There are important ones. And the character designs are all incredible. I think all of the characters, good and bad, they are great. But I think that like while I agree that they do lack a iconic villain. I think you have an iconic hero and an iconic like team. And I think that's where like looking at Pokemon, it does like. Even DBZ has it as well. Like Goku and all them are iconic. In Pokemon, Ash is iconic, and his team is iconic. I mean, yes, you have Pikachu and Charizard, but like even kind of connected to the movie, like we, near the end,
Butterfree.
You see the Butterfree. Even the Heracross is big. Yeah. Even
the Squirtle, the fucking sunglasses Squirtle.
Honestly, so like I am curious. I'd have to look at to see exactly when. So you mentioned this came out when Sun and Moon were coming out.
Yeah.
The Pokemon I Choose You, Pokemon the movie I Choose You. So the villain using Incineroar makes me wonder, like, did they know about Incineroar's popularity? Because spoiler alert, in the anime, Ash gets a Litten, and it does become an Incineroar eventually. So, like... And
it also got into Super Smash Bros.
And it's become iconic. Like, anyone who follows VGC as well...
Oh, yeah.
Especially people who know... I'm going to call him out. He's in a good way. Awesome. So, Wolfie VGC is actually how I got into Nuzlocking. Yeah. I was following him for VGC stuff. He did Pokemon Emerald Kaizo as a challenge with Pokemon Challenges. That's how I learned about Pokemon Challenges and all the hardcore Nuzlocke stuff things. But Wolfie has basically, he's straight up said, like, Incineroar is the greatest competitive Pokemon to ever be made. Like, he's the strongest, whatever.
A heel wrestler, ironically enough.
And it's become, like, an iconic... Ironically, it's become iconic for a lot of his teams.
Oh, yeah.
He always puts it on his teams because it is so good.
Yeah.
So, like...
Darkest Lariat and shit.
Yeah. But the fact, too, like, just having... Ash with his teams, like even his Pokemon always feel that iconic, and Ash himself, him and Pikachu do. And even though I will say, slight spoiler alert, I actually think there's characters in this movie that are better than Brock and Misty. They are iconic. Gary, I was like, we didn't get to see Gary outside of a barely visible thing. Like, I was like, I'm thinking, where's my smells you later?
Yeah, whereas Gary was here. Ash is a loser. I used to say that all the goddamn time back in middle school.
Like, I feel like one of the best things, like, a good iconic villain is important. I think an iconic hero is just as.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's why One Piece can... even though a good... So basically, an iconic hero is more important than an iconic villain, I think. I think you can have both. And everything, and I think you can have an iconic villain, but I think iconic heroes are what give you a longevity, kind of thing. And I think that's where that's why One Piece is able to live without that iconic villain. Yeah. But something that the good animes do have. I think like Naruto, like say what you want about Naruto. Naruto is iconic. Oh yeah. The Naruto run itself is iconic. I don't know anything about Bleach. Yeah. I know. What's his name? Ichigo. I mean, I got it pretty damn good for never watching the show. Yeah. Everyone knows Ash. Everyone knows Goku. Even Gohan himself and them. And I feel like there's enough iconicity. A hero is more iconic and important than the villain. Yeah. And a really good iconic hero like Luffy can supersede a lack of an iconic villain. Yeah,
but for that argument, just for the sake of staying on our favorite show of all time, One Piece, I was like, whenever I see those kind of threads or those kind of discussions about it, I think the closest they got to breaking out of the cultural sphere of it at any time was probably Enel. Yes, Enel.
I guessed it.
Yeah, 100%. I think. I mean, One Piece. Each arc. Face, though. I know he was so popular that people outside of anime communities would see him in Eminem memes and be like, hell yeah. And also, I mean, Netflix, if you don't fucking get somebody who looks like Eminem or Eminem himself at 50 years old to beat Enel, you're fucking up. But I think but One Piece, like I said, One Piece moves off from villains after arcs because every arc is fucking incredible. They have more stuff to do, more stuff to discuss, and more world to build. But I think at the time we were definitely in middle school. I remember when Enel was around, but I think that was the closest that ever come from actually breaching past most cultural osmosis. No, because I remember me and Roman would always talk about Enel
because they were on chapter 500.
That's when I got into One Piece. Yeah, that's when I got into One Piece. Was just after Alabaster ended. I started reading it. I think around that time because of course my time scale. My time scale always ends that the image of Pell flying in the middle of the Alabaster arc aired in 9/11. So on 9/11 is the image of Pell flying in that manga entry, and that was our 6th grade. So 7th grade, the next year, they were starting Skypiea, and that's when I got into One Piece.
Right, can I see this? All right, chapter 1, because I remember...
So it would have been 2002 or 2003 was when I would have gotten into it.
Okay, so I remember starting One Piece a lot when we were our senior year, because when we were doing our senior project, before that computer lab would open, I would be in the library and I just read One Piece for like 3-4 hours a day.
Yeah. And we cannot turn it into the One Piece podcast.
They were on Water 7, by the way. Around that time.
Yeah.
So so NL was around, because that was 2008. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was probably the closest they got to breaching the like fandom bubble and like people who don't know seeing NL and being like, oh, that Eminem guy from One Piece. But beyond that, they have more business and more important things to take care of, honestly, than having an iconic villain. But that is one thing. That is one knock against One Piece on the like wall of positive, awesome, amazing ticks. There's like one like no, they have great villains, but none like capital I iconic to non-people.
I think though, like with that is like one thing about One Piece that you get from, you don't get a lot of other shows at times, is like, yes, Luffy is the main character. But he himself is I'm not a hero. Yeah. I'm not a great, amazing person.
Yeah, no.
And I think that's where, like, that's why there is, like, because even if you look at certain characters, like Crocodile, even NL to an extent, a lot of them, like, certain people think that they are a hero or a good person. There are people who think that I don't care.
Yeah.
Or even too, like, I mean, the fact that Big Mom is considered a villain, but you look at her backstory, and it's kind of dark.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It is dark. Even too, the kind of what we're learning about, like, certain characters here and there. Like, if you learn about the King's backstory, like, you see, his connection to it. Learning Blackbeard's now with Rock and what he's been called into.
Yeah.
Even too, looking at a heroic figure theoretically like Garp, seeing what he's come into and what he's done. There is, a good character like him has a darkness to him. And I think, like, that's where, like, you can get away with a lack of a villain when there's such an iconic
world and story. And characters.
With that. And I think, like, looking back at, like, Pokemon, like, Ash is always a good guy and all that, and Team Rocket is always bad. But, like, I think even, too, like, just looking at them from, like, one of the latest series I watched really with them was Sun and Moon, and they are very different in that than they were. And even too, if you watch back and anyone rewatches episode 2 where you first meet Team Rocket, I mean, they are introduced as badasses.
Yeah.
Straight up, they look like the coolest group around.
Yeah, and they honestly, even despite them losing every second, they stayed pretty fucking cool for a pretty long time.
Yeah. But like, and then like as the time goes on, I mean, they become a joke.
I mean, this movie is the worst portrayal of them probably in a while.
They're useless.
I mean, they
did nothing. They were a reference.
Yeah, they're just a very clunky reference. But like I said, someday we'll get to that. In terms of anime movies, like you said, you don't really particularly watch a lot of anime movies. Not out of your way to watch them anyway. Yeah,
and it's again, I have kids, so it's you think it's easier, but I think it's and I think the problem too at times with anime movies, like actual anime movies at times is like there is sometimes like you have to know it to even hear about their existence, and then there's always enjoyment from knowing it. So like I can watch Pokemon I Choose You and I say, oh, I see this, oh, I recognize this, oh, I recognize this. Whereas like, yes, in theory, if you've never watched Pokemon, you're gonna enjoy yourself.
Yeah, this would be a good entry way, possibly.
But also too, like a lot of the films, just animes in general, like they get much better and even the bad parts get enjoyed because it's like, oh, I recognize what they were trying or referencing here.
Yeah.
And I think animes they can be hard to get into.
Oh yeah.
Especially not only if you're looking at, the dubbing of it, dub for sub, but just in general watching it, availability. And then getting it, and something like One Piece I love and I get it is, we are 1,000 chapters and episodes in.
Oh yeah.
It is not easy to get into.
Yeah.
It took me 2 weeks of reading for like 4 hours a day just to catch up back in 2008. Like, I cannot imagine how long it would take.
Literally impossible.
It would literally take a full quote unquote school year of those same hours reading.
Non-stop, yeah. But fortunately, One Piece is worth it. The next aspect of this, video game movies. Now, a shit ton of them have come out in the past year.
We've actually talked about some.
Yeah, but also some the new ones. Another one that was potentially going to be on the list. I was going to, but when we were first, nice.
We've only actually done one
video game movie. Nice. Well, now we have two. Hey, jeez.
Sorry.
Nice. Oh, the shiny rare. You gotta keep her safe.
Hey, you're supposed to be protecting me.
You're protecting your giant sis. But yeah, the next one would be video game movies. Now, the plan was, when we were doing Old Dogs, I wanted to try to finish Old Dogs fast, which I mean, who knows, maybe it didn't work out.
But fair, I think we did comparatively.
Of course, yeah. My plan...
It only took us 2 recordings.
Yeah, I mean, one recording.
1 4-hour.
That was the best time of our lives. But no, I would say the plan was to finish the movie back then, because the week of that movie, the week we were going to finish that, originally, the movie Mortal Kombat 2 was coming out. Now, Mortal Kombat 1, I think, like, mid to poorly received. So I was like, okay, well, regardless of anything, we got to do Mortal Kombat 2 for the podcast. It's a fun video game movie. It'll be reference heavy. And then, of course, that movie came out, and it was pretty fucking incredible. Pretty great reviews across the board. Better than the first movie. Really? Hands down. Might be the best Mortal Kombat movie besides the first one, ironically. So,
wow.
It's legit a fantastic movie.
Because I will say, I remember watching
the first new one.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it too. It was probably like 50 to 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, which makes it technically rotten. But the new movie, like, universally across the board, everyone's like, this movie's incredible. It's great. So it wouldn't have been good for movie garbage, but also it was fucking legit. I saw it. It was fucking fantastic.
Is that OC character in it again?
Ooh, boy. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you...
Is he in it?
He's in it, yes. He's in it. Yeah,
okay.
He's in it.
Because I'll say, like...
Cole.
I actually really like that movie, because, like, I'm not a big fighting game guy.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it. But, like, I felt like that first film, like, there was a lot of references that I got, you know, whatever, but it didn't feel like... Because there are times where you watch a film that you don't understand, but, like, oh, that's just pandering. And, like, yeah, I'm sure there was. But, like, at the same point, like, I actually liked a lot of it, and I really enjoyed that first one. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, very fun.
I think they had great, like of some of these famous characters, I think they did a great job of like casting them and putting them in there.
Yeah.
And like it also did a good job too of kind of like explaining it. Like that's I think one thing with films and especially video games that can be hard, especially with something like Mortal Kombat or these big, you know, whatever. Yeah. It's like how do we explain it to someone who doesn't know it without
convey this
without spending over half of the film, because that's sometimes too, like there are films they spend over half the film just setting things up. It's like that's why I think like the Amazing Spider-Man probably failed comparatively. I won't lie, I haven't watched the first Amazing Spider-Man, but like I feel like
really the first one. Garfield, you haven't seen the first one?
I've not seen that.
You seen the second one?
I have seen that one.
That's weird.
Well, I got to see that one when I was working at the Capitol. We got to watch that as a midnight release. Because that was the one I remember. I think I said it when we talked about it in one of our 4 episodes of the Marvel stuff. Yeah. Was I watched that one after we knew we were able to watch it at midnight, but we went to the bar across the streets. Costume.
I showed her the picture of the famous. That's what you missed in the first movie. The lizard.
But yeah, in the second one, we went to the bar across the street and had drinks. So I watched it, and the alcohol hit me right at the electro power grid scene, where everything was like. But like that's why I think like the Marvel Spider-Man with Tom Holland did so well is it didn't waste time. Like Sam Raimi's had to because it was new. It was
2001,
and so, like that, especially too like after the Garfield one, like Tom Holland didn't need that. It allowed us to just Spider-Man's here, it exists, and you all know the story. But they were still able, and that way when we get that scene, we get it from a character we know and love and care about. Yeah. In a way that, and everything, which we talked about plenty. Yeah.
But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 turned out to be great, so I'm glad we didn't end up doing it for the podcast. We'll probably talk about it and some other thing later, but it was fantastic. Did you see the Super Mario Galaxy movie?
Yes.
I will say I have not. While I was sneaking between theaters to steal movies, I did sit in. I only saw from when the castle was taken to when Peach goes into the casino and defeats the bubble dude. Okay. And like Bowser meets up with his son. That probably 15-20 minute span is all I saw of the movie, because then I had to leave to go see the other movie I was sneaking into. So I heard kind of like not great there. I heard kind of like middle. Again, going on the flawed rating system that is Rotten Tomatoes, I believe it got also like probably maybe like 50% or something like that. So just to add technically rotten.
So having seen the film, without trying to do my best to not spoil things,
Yeah.
There's a lot of concepts I like. See, one thing too, whenever, especially when you see Bowser Jr. with the paintbrush, and he's got the EGAD symbol, like, I'm really hoping we get more. Like, EGAD is, I feel like, a very, tangent within tangent here. EGAD is a very interesting character who we do not get enough of in Mario.
Yeah.
Because, like, how in the hell did he, A, make this paintbrush, and B, did he give it to Bowser Jr.? Or did he take it? What was his purpose? Like, there was a lot, I think, that would have been fun.
Yeah.
EGAD is so underexplored and so much. It's wild. He's only ever really mentioned into the Luigi's Mansion games.
Yeah.
And all that. But I feel like the film, I'm sure you heard the people say, like, oh, the Smashverse is going to come. 100%, I feel like this movie sets it up hard. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've heard.
I've seen Star Fox, but in the promo material. And
then you see, he's in a trailer, Game & Watch.
It's
a small thing, but like we have such connections, and everything, and all this. But like on one hand, I think the biggest complaint I have is there's a few times where it jumps around a few too many times.
Yeah.
There's a lack of like the first film, I think, focusing on Mario specifically did actually help it, him and Peach, in a way, with Bowser as this villain that we don't get in the sequel. There's just kind of jumping around. But I think it's good. I think it's funny. I think the whole cast is great. I even love too, like when you meet Yoshi in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like it's in the beginning, and it's
I missed it. So
do you give I?
Yeah, go ahead.
So like when they go to save, there's something going on, and it's Yoshi, and they're like, where did you come from? Or how'd you get here? And it's this whole like flash sequence of like Yoshi like. From the end credit scene of the first one, popping up. He's in Brooklyn. He just exists in Brooklyn. It's fine. Pisses a bunch of people off, and he ends up going through a portal. And that's how he ends up where he's at. And he's like, Yoshi! I'm like, oh, I guess we'll never know. Yeah. And it's funny.
Yeah.
Like, we learn it. The characters don't. And it does a great job of making it funny.
Yeah.
The film, like, when it does stuff like that, it's really good.
Yeah.
It lacks a little focus here and there.
Okay.
But overall, I think it's actually really fun.
Hell yeah.
And also, I think my biggest complaint is I like the theory that Rosalina is Peach and Luigi's daughter from the future.
Peach and Luigi?
So Game Theory did a thing where they looked at Rosalina.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought that there. Well, I mean, like, back then during that video, it was implied. I thought it was Mario and. Peach.
Well, so they thought you think that, but if you look at, I guess, her features, Luigi has more in common with her. Like statistically, genetically, Rosalina has more in common with Luigi than Mario.
Yeah.
And everything, and she mentions her dad, and it connects more to Luigi. So I like that, and the film does not make that happen. Rosalina is not futuristic. She is like
current.
Technically,
yeah, I already heard the spoiler that she's Peach's sister. I've heard that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spoiler hard.
No, yeah, that was people talking about that like around.
Yeah. So but like I feel like I like the movie. It's a good movie, honestly, and especially too like what we've gotten for some video game films.
Yeah.
Actually, we did 2 video game films.
What?
Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah.
We've done 2 Paul W.
We're trying not to associate. We're trying not to associate. Yeah, both Paul W. Anderson. Finally a different director for this movie at least. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I forgot we fucking did Monster Hunter. Ugh. Did you see Iron Lung?
Iron Lung? No, I'm not.
That's the Markiplier director.
That's right. Yeah.
Based on the game.
Really good.
It's fantastic, intense, fun horror movie. Very gruesome, very isolating. It's crazy, but it's just him in the fucking weird tub.
What is the game? I don't remember.
The game is basically you're like a prisoner on this weird planet that's made of the whole planet is a blood ocean, and you're in a sub trying to secure humanity was almost all the stars in the sky wiped out. Almost all of humanity is gone, except for like these like space stations. You're like trying to find a new place, and there's this planet that they might be able to use, and it's like the whole planet is an ocean of blood. It's very weird. The whole setup is weird, but you're like a person.
What's the kind of style?
It's like a one of those like a PS1 graphic, like the old school 3D looking. Setup.
Blocky.
Like blocky 3D, but it's just you inside the ship, and like there's some kind of giant, terrifying anglerfish monster is like outside of the sub, and you're just like trying to like make sure the sub doesn't fucking fall apart while you're like taking photos.
Like a survival game, or?
Kinda, yeah. It's like a escape room trial, kind of like escape room style thing, kind of.
Okay.
But you're like exploring the ocean and taking like these weird like X-ray photos in the water, or the blood, trying to like figure out. But it's literally just the character in the sub trying to not to make it fall apart, trying to explore, and like doing all kinds of puzzly stuff when like crazy shit happens, horror shit happens. The whole movie is just Markiplier in this tiny little disgusting, rusty, falling apart sub in like a crazy blood ocean planet. It's pretty fucking great. It's a great horror movie. It's a great first feature for an amateur director, YouTuber. Not the only fucking YouTuber movie that came out this year, honestly, but that's a fantastic. Along with, Obsession and Backrooms are both by...
I was going to say before we get to Backrooms. That Item Lung you want to talk about it?
No, it's a fantastic movie. Definitely try checking it out if you can. Definitely support Markiplier. He did a great job, and hopefully does more crazy video game adaptations like that.
Yeah, ironically too, like him, and then kind of tangent within tangent here again, as the alternate podcast name.
Yeah, pretty much.
I never saw it, but I heard a lot about Skinamarink. And I know that was a YouTuber who made that. And like,
was it a YouTuber? I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that movie personally.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I saw parts of it, and then I just watched a YouTube recap of it because I have no interest in seeing that. I'm not a fan of analog horror like that.
But I like the idea, because I think. I'm sure eventually we get back to another horror film someday. Like, I think one thing to talk about at times here and there is when horror changed Scream and Saw. Yeah. Like those, we look at them now and we see them everywhere, but like they didn't exist. So I think like Skinamarink, it may not have failed, but it tried something.
Oh, I don't think it failed. It's definitely very iconic, and that tone of analog horror definitely was popping off a couple years ago. So, yeah.
But I mean, from what I've heard too, like that was a very different style of horror film in general. And honestly, too, I feel like it probably walked. So Backrooms, into it could run, because I won't lie, I knew very little about the Backrooms before I went in. And
you saw it?
I did see Backrooms.
Oh, hell yeah.
I liked that movie, and I was so confused by it.
Yeah, it's if you follow any like YouTuber like recap of the original thing was just like a weird abandoned liminal like I think it was like a shoe store or something like that was just like had like empty ass rooms, and it's just creepy.
They said so like before it was just a random picture that
on 4chan. Yeah, 4chan.
It was taken of a store that was like in the middle of like whatever. People tracked it down after it got popular. Yeah. And it was just a.
It was funny, so some like weird, creepy 4chan green text post being like, "Oh, you're in the back rooms where you like fall through the world, and like be careful, something's watching you, it's gonna get you." And like from that, but liminal spaces were a thing beforehand, and it's just like a common like horror trope now. But like also Skinamarink I guess would probably be a lot of like I said, the analog horror is like the old VHS, rusty, also liminal like style. Most of the times I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff.
Well,
but
remember the VHS franchise has kind of used those too.
Yeah,
right?
VHS does. Yeah, honestly, I like the VHS franchise. Its quality wildly fluctuates between every entry, I think, and some of those.
Part of that is the point of it.
Yeah, they're all different directors, and it's all different people's opinions. I think that some of them have like one good. Like I think the second one has like just that like tie or whatever segment is incredible with the cult. That's incredible. The rest of the second movie, I could fucking. I couldn't give a shit less.
I remember watching them from Dead Meat.
Yeah.
And I remember.
Definitely check them out if you can. But like I said, there's only like one. There's like the second one only has like one or two good bits, and the rest of it's pretty not great, in my opinion, of horror. Not that great. But going to Backrooms. The Backrooms, there are a shit ton of Backrooms games based off of the internet meme of liminal spaces, and then the person who did the director of it like has his own YouTube series about the Backrooms that he did before making the movie. But it is very. Of course, the original point was that it was like a fall through video game like glitching thing was like the setup of it, the idea. So that is tertiary really video game related, like the rest of these movies we're talking about.
Yeah. I think too, like, at times with video game films and adaptations is like, it's some of the best films I think are able to capture the spirit without maybe being as hard canon.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's where like the Mario movies have done well.
Yeah.
Like they capture it, they capture the spirit of it, but they're not dead canon to it.
No, yeah, that would be impossible.
Right. You know, I think that's part of it. But even too, like the fact that we have Galaxy and Odyssey, like it kind of like the Mario Galaxy movie kind of combines both.
Yeah.
And even too, like that bubble guy,
Yeah.
him and all that group. I guess is from Mario 3. I guess.
I thought it was like the weird, the one with Birdo and gang was from like I think there was like 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
The one that was a dream or something.
well, like that is a reference.
Yeah.
The fact that those characters are in this are referenced, but they're their own things. You know, I think that's where it's impressive, and even too, like, in a weird way, because like you know, you want to talk about a Mario adaptation film, and it's not animated, but the Mario movie,
Yeah, the original
with,
one. John Leguizamo and Hoskins.
Yeah. Like, yes, we can look at it back now. It's like, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
But I will say this: if you think about the fact that they took this concept, and yes, it didn't work, but they did something different.
They did some original stuff. Yeah.
They tried to make it something that their own, and even though it didn't succeed, we remember it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said at times for failing correctly.
Yeah,
You know?
possibly.
I think that's why too. Like we talk about it. We're hard into Monster Hunter, but
Yeah.
I think the fact that Monster Hunter probably is hard forgotten by most folks.
Yeah.
I mean,
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Nobody remembers that piece of shit. I don't even, most fans who hate it probably don't even think about it at all as existing.
We think about it because it's on our list.
Yeah.
Every time, so we have to remember it. And
Every time we record.
Honestly, I wish we had talked about it more.
I mean, there's still, yeah.
Which I'm excited for the DLC to come out next year.
Oh, yeah, that fucking was...
I have not played it in a while, but I'm debating how I want to get back in.
I'm still... Well, I guess... Well, I'm honestly... We're going to talk about it in a while, probably, but Monster Hunter Stories 3 came out. But like I said,
need to play that game,
it'll be...
so.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit.
Once Chris and I meet up, finally, I'll get my Switch 2. I probably won't get it on that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But like I think, ironically, one of the things as I'm sure we all remember, I defended that film a lot more, and there was a lot I think that they did get right. But I think the fact was because it tried too hard to connect at times to the games, that really kind of hurt it.
Do you think it'd be better if it was more of an isekai or more Rathalos taking out fucking planks and tanes? Tanks and planes.
Honestly, I think I love Ron Perlman. I think if you take out, because I mean, when I see those characters, I didn't think of that. I thought, oh, these are connections to Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
And it was cool, but at the same time, like, I felt like they drug it down. Like, I think if you had Mila Jovovich and Tony Jaa fix up and take one of those ships and everything, I think you would have had more. You had more time for the Rathalos to be introduced and everything. There could have been more ways. Because again, for me, the parts I remember and liked the most were when it wasn't trying to be, oh, here's our real Monster Hunter connection. It was our taking a Monster Hunter and tweaking it up. I think the Mario movie, because it went all into we're gonna do our own thing and just tangentially connect it to here, it didn't succeed. But we remember it, and I think that's something to be said.
It's something. It's something, all right. Speaking of big failures, though, another thing we did cover was the Resident Evil movies. Did you ever get around to seeing Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City?
Nope.
With a dude from Victorious as Leon Kennedy.
Nope.
He has that movie is bad. Obviously, it was a huge failure. Nobody remembers it existed. It completely disappeared from everyone's consciousness. Huge flop. Who gives a shit? Now we have Zach Kreger from Barbarian and Weapons doing his. Have you seen the trailer for that yet?
Who's he in Weapons?
He's the director.
Okay.
And he's also from Whitest Kids You Know. He's like one of the lead dudes from Whitest Kids You Know.
Never seen that.
The show.
I know this. I heard
You have to see. You have to know. I mean, the Grapist and everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've seen bits and pieces.
Yeah. He's one of the main dudes from that group.
Okay.
He's the one who directed Weapons and directed Barbarian.
Okay.
And his new movie, his new movie is Resident Evil. Do you have YouTube on this, Tim? You might as well watch the trailer. Why the fuck not?
I mean, I guess sure. Why not?
All right.
Pause the recording, or
sure. All right. So we are back from that. So. We watched the trailers for Resident Evil and for the new Street Fighter movie coming out.
So
yeah,
since we were talking about how like films that take the concept but that make it their own.
Oh yeah.
I don't know much about Street Fighter,
yeah.
but I know a bit about more Resident Evil. So I'm going to start with Street Fighter here. Is that connected at all to a lot of Street Fighter, or not really?
The plot wise, I have no clue. The movie's not out yet, so I have no. But it did seem very accurate. A lot of very accurate costumes.
Well, the costumes definitely. The big
fighting style, a lot of a huge amount of moves. I saw like fucking a shit ton of like very specific Shoryukens and Hadoukens and then the Sonic Boom. Tatsumaki Sapyaku. Yeah.
Even too like the reference of her thighs.
Yeah, Chun-Li's big legs. a whole bunch of really cool. Yeah, very very on brand. But yeah, just like your general personal thoughts on what you thought about the trailers. Not being familiar with. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Street Fighter looked colorful.
Yeah,
and I think that at least helps.
Compared to the. Did you see Legend of Chun-Li?
Nope.
It was a bad aughts movie about just Chun-Li and Bison.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not good. It was very forgettable, very mid and bad. Yeah, obviously.
The Resident Evil one though, because we've talked about Resident Evil before, in the episodes,
literally on the podcast.
Not as much as we would nowadays.
Yeah.
But I know, I'm sure going back, if I were to guess, we talked fairly highly on the first one. Being
the first movie?
Yeah, being a film that was, it had its own original character and some references here and there, but it was a very, I think about the first film, you think about it, is, so, especially for Resident Evil, that is a game franchise. If you think of the first film, it branches out, but is a very claustrophobic.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing, and I get to why the sequel goes into.
And if you want to just to steal a point, possibly a very isolating game.
Yes. So I'm curious to see how this new one, because the new one I got a straight up RE7 vibes. Mm-hmm. I've yet to play 8 because I haven't finished 7 and I get getting too scared and I'm
not terrified. 9. 9's out now, Ed.
Still haven't played many of them, but.
I gotta get you a bundle. You gotta play 7, 8, and 9. Stream all of them.
I need someone to play with me when I'm playing. Live react.
I'll play with you.
So, I need someone to laugh at me while I get scared. Dan will get scared with me.
Yeah.
I need you to play with me.
Okay.
So you come over here more and play games.
Yeah, we can stream it. In the basement, lights off. Just stream it in darkness and have you scream and get terrified.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that. But I was at 7 vibes, but I'm interested to see, because the snow on the ground outside was interesting.
I will say one thing. I believe they did say, one of the things that, the divisive against fans, I did believe that they did say possibly will be canon to the games.
I see. I don't hate that.
The reason is that that dude is a courier in the middle of, I believe, or around outside of Raccoon City. Probably around the Arclay Mountains, which is where the first game takes place. Is where the house is. People were saying, it doesn't make sense. The first game takes place in, I believe, October? So the snows that people are is that at the same time as the movie or a little bit after? What's going on?
I mean, it depends on where Raccoon City is located, because as you know, living in Ohio,
it's a generic nondescript Midwest
we can get
town.
Snow in September. We can get snow until December. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, we also fucking get snow all the way in goddamn March or April. So
who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But, I think, ironically, too, snow is an interesting kind of environment
for a zombie thing like that. Yeah.
I mean, I remember in World War Z, the books, they even talk, I think, about in, I think they say, in Canada, one of the things that they didn't think about were zombies would freeze and then thaw out. So, you'd think that they'd be gone for a time, and then they'd all of a sudden show back up because those cold weathers threw them off. And threw off people, whereas the hot temperatures would cause them to decay quicker.
Yeah.
So the idea of whatever the hell the Resident Evil calls it zombies nowadays.
I mean, whatever the fuck. Yeah. Also, another aspect was people were saying like, oh, are like fans of the game going to be pissed? There's a bunch of like weird monster looking shit in that. But then people said, obviously, yeah. Anybody who thinks that people get upset about that has never played a Resident Evil game, because in the first game you fight a giant snake, you fight a giant spider, you fight a giant plant monster, a giant shark, yeah, along with BOWs and crazy ass fucking goofy fucking lizard creatures and all kinds of shit. And people were saying that another issue with the original fucking Paul W.S. Anderson movies is what it was just fucking zombies. One scene with a dog maybe, and then one maybe nemesis or creature or titan. Yeah, like the one liquor, or like they didn't have enough freak monster shit, which is a huge part of Resident Evil after the zombies initially just become like fodder.
Even if you look at like Resident Evil 4, which I think a lot of people think of, like Krauser is probably the most humanoid bioweapon kind of guy.
Yeah.
Because like you think about like just the first two big bosses, you have, I don't know if he has a name, but that village leader.
He does have a leader. He does have a name. He does have a name. I forget.
Yeah, but like he becomes a giant centipede.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's humanoid, like body horror, but he is a centipede monster. But then, especially Salazar.
Salazar? I can't remember.
Salazar.
Well, who knows? There's no way to find out.
No way. He becomes a giant, like,
eyeball goo monster, yeah. And also his two fucking henchmen that are giant fucking bug creatures that are, like, unkillable. Right. Did you play the remake of 4?
I have not yet.
Oh my god, Ed, you're so fun. We recorded the first Resident Evil episode when it was planned. It was planned when 2 came out, and then 3 came out by the time we recorded it a year later. And now since then, we've had like fucking the 4 remake. We've had 8, 9, 10.
I'm afraid to go back
Veronica's coming out
for like these remakes because like
they're legit. I mean, like
see, I love the original.
Yeah.
And I went back and I tried to play Jedi Academy 2 one time.
Oh no, it's but it's not that kind of situation.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not that situation. Everyone like remember 2, 3, and 4 remakes have all been universally praised as absolutely incredible. 4 isn't. Yeah, people love 4.
See, it's hard to. I played it on GameCube so much. I don't know if I can go.
Can you speedrun this one with the Chicago typewriter? You can.
I'm sure I can.
But also, there's a bunch of really fucking cool. I will say the sequence with the regenerators is.
Oh God!
It's very. It's very different, but it is just as fucking cool as shit. It's just as terrifying and fun.
I believe it.
Yeah, so. But like, the movie I think looks fantastic, and I am hype as shit for that.
Oh yeah, no, it honestly looked great.
Is that correct? I believe he has a fucking weapons, barbarian, incredible. I have total faith in him.
Like, I finally saw what I finally forget why I said to sit down and watch Weapons, but I was glad I did.
Oh yeah,
and like I didn't see that shit coming, and it was great.
Yeah, well, we're not going to see Barbarians coming either. I'll tell you that. That movie's all equally great.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So, but like, yeah, I think like we're just kind of going back on topic a bit. Like, I think video game films, video games and films are very different mediums.
Oh yeah.
And I think trying to treat a film like a video game can be a problem.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's where the best ones, even if they fail as a good film, I think they can succeed. I think that's where, again, as I say, the Super Mario Brothers movie, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But it tried.
It tried something.
and you know what? It felt like a movie. And it's weird to say, like, because another film that I think of at times that I remember one sequence of, and I remember who stars in it, Doom. Watch that one?
Carl Urban and The Rock, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like the scene near the end where The Rock just go like it was like first person.
Yeah. Oh, like, speaking of Carl Urban, he's Johnny Cage in Resident Evil or Mortal Kombat 2. He plays Johnny Cage, and in he was the Doom guy in Doom.
But like I remember that scene in that film, and like it was like I was like, oh, this is a fun reference. But I don't remember anything about the film.
You don't remember that it was alien monster? It was an alien virus, not demons from hell?
Yeah, I don't remember that shit at all.
Very stupid.
I literally remember that, and that's about it.
The Rock be having like big blue eyes, or having weird like zombie blue eyes at the end because he's another zombie monster.
I don't remember that at all. I just remember that they go to a first-person scene for a portion of the end.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and I think that's too why like the Mario movies have been. Even at their worst, I think they're fun, is because I think that they know that they are a film. And I think that sometimes game adaptations, can't forget that, and I mean, we talking about game adaptations, I would be remiss if we don't talk about Fallout slightly.
Of course.
Because I think that the show is incredible because it is a show, 100%. I mean, these are characters that I don't feel like Lucy, the Ghoul, Norm, Maximus. I don't feel like these are characters where they could be something different than we get in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's important because they feel like they're in Fallout. I mean, I literally feel like we are in Fallout with these. It is the 2 seasons we have gotten at this point are incredible.
Incredible, yeah, absolutely fantastic.
I mean, even too, like we were talking a little bit beforehand,
yeah.
you know, before we started recording, was like how I felt like season 2, like it. You can look and say, "Oh, I think that this could be the canonic ending."
Yeah.
Like you can point to House ending. You can point to. I think obviously Yes Man being one of the most easy to say. I get that, you know, and obviously, but like at the same point, like there's enough where like I feel like they did such a good job where any ending could theoretically in a way almost be possible because we don't have the superpowers.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic.
But they all feel legitimate to how they could be.
Yeah, some things are just better as TV show adaptations as opposed to like a single movie because they're, like I said, completely different formats. Have you seen the Last of Us show yet?
I have not yet.
Okay.
I've heard it's good.
It's fantastic. I even watched the second season. I, for one, am a fan of the second game.
I never played the second game.
It's divisive. I loved it.
So is it divisive because it's actually good or bad, or is it divisive because of the gay love story and the fact that Joel becomes the villain?
Joel's... God. I can't talk around this, but I wouldn't say Joel becomes the villain. Do you know about the game? I mean, it's been like several years now. So, do you mind if do you know what the deal with Joel is in the thing?
I'm going to say what I think I remember.
Okay.
And tell me if I'm right or wrong. Like he basically gets killed by the new girl from it because he I forget, something goes crazy with him.
Do you remember at the end of the first game?
Where you have to kill all the fireflies?
All the fireflies, specifically when he goes into the room with the doctors.
Where they were going to take her apart.
Yeah,
and
they're going to. Yeah.
Isn't one of her parents?
Her dad is the first doctor that he kills in that sequence. The one who's you first see in the room is just like, hey, wait, stop! You don't understand. We need to, she can cure the virus, and then you can either just shoot him and kill him, or he might I think he goes for a scalp or something to defend the people, and you kill him anyway. That's Abby's father. And spoilers for The Last of Us 2, which came out like I said a decade ago, hugely controversial game. Abby kills Joel in probably the first 30 minutes of the game, very, very brutally. Like everything in that game, it's very, very brutal the way she kills him, and that just completely fucking destroyed the brains of fans of the game. So they completely divided fans of the first series. People either love the second one or hate the second one, depending on that initial thing. And then, of course, on that, Ellie has her whole long thing with Diana, who's a really cool love interest of hers. It's also just a constant. I will say that I beat 2. Incredible game. I loved it. I will never play that game again. It is a dramatic, torturously depressing experience, but an incredible game, incredible story. Like I said, you play as Abby about 50% of the time after she does that to Joel, and like I said, just to fucking profile people, boy, straight white male gamers could not fucking stand that idea. And this very masked, but she's straight. She has a fucking she's Abby's straight. She has a boyfriend that she has sex with in a scene, but she's huge. She's very huge and very fucking butch presenting. But yeah,
it makes sense in this context.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and also people before, months before the game, or people just memeing on it or whatever, saw her and how the hell is that fucking possible? In the post-apocalypse, you do get a sequence where you see the fireflies, and they do have a big ass fucking gym with a ton of people working out, including where she works out. So it's that's fine. But yeah, you play as her for a bunch of the game, and people could not fucking stand that, and they fucking rioted in the streets for that game. And besides, I will say we make the comparison all the time. It is very, very Last Jedi in terms of completely dividing the fan base for a number of reasons, but number one specifically that she kills Joel and then you have to play as her for a long time. And then the game I said on top of that is incredibly depressing and incredibly dour, but a great experience, I think. See,
it's funny because I only played the first game. The highlight for me, I think I started in one of the episodes, is ironically it wasn't even actually a portion of like things that actually happened. It was when you're going through that like underground like that layer, like learning the story of that person who's shipwrecked and as they were going through things and experiencing it. Yeah. That was still the highlight to me.
There's a lot of really amazing sequences like that. Like,
and I remember pieces of that in the world. But like I also remember too, like I do remember that firefighting scene at the end. Yeah. Because I remember thinking like on one hand, Joel is like the whole gang are really kind of killing, these monsters. Then you play as Ellie, who's killing these terrible people and saving Joel, and then he then in turn goes full whatever. Yeah. And like if you were to just take that scene at the end and put that, it would make no sense. Why would you kill all these people for one person? But playing the game, it makes sense. Yeah. But learning that Abby's father was in that, so like it almost connects to real life to me because like I've said too, like I think about some of the real life work, like connecting it to real life. I remember when Bin Laden was killed. Yeah. And I'm sure I probably said this before, but like, am I glad that the harm he wishes to cause is no longer him specifically able to cause it? Yes. That is there's a harm that has been reduced because he is no longer in this world. But I don't celebrate his death because it is still a human life. And I think like it's that same sequence of this. Yeah. It's like, yes, Joel's harm can no longer, because Joel had a connection to Ellie and he was willing to kill so many people, and his killing caused Abby. Yeah. Like, Abby doesn't have a reason to kill him if he doesn't kill them, which they don't kill her. And it's like that cycle of violence and kind of thing.
Oh yeah, the whole thing is very much an exercise in the cycle of revenge, because a lot of the game is Ellie trying to find Abby to kill her, which leads her to doing a bunch of horrible dark shit and basically, no spoiler, ruining her fucking own life and situation that she has in pursuit of Abby. And boy, that like I said, when it's an exercise in fucking depressing ass like fucking storytelling, the ending sequence alone, I'm just like, I can't fucking experience that again. It is so fucked up and so sad, but like I said, amazing experience to have, and I think that everyone should, like, it's incredible, but like it's fucking depressing.
I like that in games. I like that, especially in games when, like, that's something I think that games do that films can't sometimes. Like,
of course, when
you are in these films, there is a disconnect between you and the main character, no matter how much they try. Mm-hmm. But in video games, there is a connection that is something that again, we've talked about this on a podcast. I'm sure I have. So when we play D&D, your stories are ones that I hate, no matter what decision I make. No matter what decision I've made, I hate myself for it, and I think that there is something valid in that, in these in telling a story is, I like the idea of good people doing bad things, bad people doing good things, bad people doing good things for bad reasons, and good people doing bad things for good reasons. Like Magneto himself is a perfect example of a character who does horrific things at times, but when you look at the reasoning why and everything before, it's like, there's something about that. Yeah. We were talking about a Pokemon episode.
I know, in case you forgot, this is Pokemon. Just one more thing before we go off of it. Yeah. Neil Druckmann did say, like, years before making 2, that, like, I think it was, like, shortly after 1 came out, people will talk to him about the ending all the time, about, like, shooting the fireflies and rescuing Ellie. People were saying, like, oh, man, it's so fucked up that you had to do that. Like, why would you do that? And he's like, oh, if you had a choice, would you have, like, not done that? And every single person's like, well, no, I definitely would have still done it. But I wish it was a choice, And it's like, come on, like, that was for the narrative, it made sense for the story that they were going to tell.
And I think that's where, like, ironically, I think people who don't understand it at that ending either didn't play the game properly or they only saw it, because I think that is something that, again, where, like, if you just watch someone play the game, it does not have that same experience of you making the choice to kill all of those people, because to get to that point, you have to have gone through the game with Ellie, protected her, learned about her, grew with her. And then even to the chapter where she's protecting Joel, and you play as her, and you get that extra connection of it. Like, it's where context matters.
Of course.
And I think people forget context matters a hell of a lot. Yeah. And video games, for better and worse, the context matters so much.
Absolutely. Also, you have a PS5 now. Definitely try to pick it up either on discount or whatever. Get a copy of Last of Us 2. I'm curious about you, because like I said, I'm dancing around the actual narrative and the huge plot things that happen in 2, because I obviously don't want to spoil more for you, because like I said, I'm only telling you what happens in the very beginning of the game. But it is a long game, and it is crazy and depressing, but great storytelling.
I'll try to be in.
I mean, if you want to be in a bad mood but have a great experience, it's difficult to sell. It's a hard sell.
So like when I played Last of Us, I think I was running for free, was at Blockbuster, and I was around the time, because I mean, people, I don't know if they still talk about it the same way, but I'm sure you remember, it was called like the greatest game of all time and a masterpiece, and I played it.
That probably added to why 2 is so divisive, honestly, but yeah.
I don't think it's a bad game, and I think it's a good game.
Yeah.
Would I call it a masterpiece?
Overrated,
though?
you're gonna say? You can just say overrated.
Honestly, I think it was hell of overrated. It's really good. It's not a bad game at all.
Yeah, I loved it. But I mean, like the first one, I'll say honestly, just as maybe I'm just being contrarian, I probably like 2 more.
So I mean, hey, listen, you and I, we disagree on some things, but at the end of the day, we are the same person.
Yeah, of course.
Melatonin levels, and heights.
Yeah, weight, everything, but still, no.
But we're the same person.
Yeah, I think I'm curious.
We are somehow like the same person split into 2 different dimensions, and then we're pushed into the same.
Yeah, same house. Yeah, of course. But yeah, definitely try to either, like I said, discount or anywhere. Try to pick it up at some point. I'm curious what your thoughts on it are.
I was have to win another. I got into Red Dead Redemption 2 because.
Oh fuck yeah!
I won that game as a free prize. I was following a YouTuber at the time, and he had a December raffle, and I won. I'm like, what's a game I would want to. I would want bought for me, but I would not buy for myself. I said Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm glad I did.
Hell yeah.
Somehow, by the way, I won the 2 years that he had it. The second year, I got South Park Fractured But Whole.
Oh, fucking fantastic game.
Never played it.
Really?
Own it.
It's fucking great. I bought it again on the Switch just because I fucking love the first one this much. I 100% of that first one.
One of these days.
Well, it's too many games to play. It's a good problem to have. Did you watch Arcane?
Nope. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I would say fucking incredible series. Listen to the Action Toon Bros episode covering the series, but fucking incredible animation. Again, amazing story, amazing animation. The Studio Fortiche that does the 3D animation for it is a fucking immaculately beautiful stuff. Did you watch the Castlevania or Devil May Cry series?
Nope.
Okay, another Action Toon Bros classic. I never played a single Castlevania game in my life.
I played the OG on NES. I could not make it past the first boss. I recall. I was like 6 or 7.
Nice. The show is fantastic. The Devil May Cry show, I hear divisive things about again. Like huge fans of the lore despise the show. Oh, yeah, it's the same people who do the Castlevania. Fans of
Which fans is funny after what we know about Castlevania and like the losing of what's his face to make Blood Rain. Was the guy?
Not Blood Rain. Blood Rain's a completely different series.
Yeah.
Bloodstained.
Bloodstained. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Blood Rain, Bloodstained.
Yeah.
Rhyme.
Did you see Cyberpunk Edge Runners?
Nope.
And incredibly, it's only probably like I think maybe only like 8 or so episodes, but it's fucking incredible. Definitely check it out because it'll make you want to go and buy Cyberpunk.
That's been the game that I continuously like look at, and I'm waiting for it to go on a proper sale, and then I can never pull the trigger on.
I mean, you have Netflix, right?
Yes.
Okay, take a 4 hours out or whatever the hell. Watch the 8 or so episodes of Cyberpunk. You will fucking go to the store and buy Cyberpunk immediately.
Don't say that when it's not on sale, then.
I mean, yeah, no, okay. Well, I mean, the kid fucking 4 or 5 years old now, isn't it?
Because I need the DLC, don't I not?
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. Like that's the problem with some of these games where they like the DLC and the.
Actually, I haven't bought the DLC yet. I'm still on a third startup playthrough of the game, and I'm enjoying it. But it's a very big. Very, very big game. So
I picked up Green Hell because it was on sale.
Oh, jeez, why? I mean, have you watched Cannibal Holocaust or any of those type of movies?
No.
Well, why the hell did you get that game?
When I look up survival, it was on there, and it's a pain in the ass at times.
Yeah.
I went back to Crimson Desert. I picked up Miasma Chronicles on sale. I have no idea about it. So, but I was waiting for it to download. I went back to Crimson Desert, which I think did we talk about that one of our episodes or no?
Probably mentioned it. If not in the podcast, probably just in person.
I say because that game. I know you mentioned that the story was written like after the game was finished.
Like literally, like
Oh my
a couple
God.
of months before it came out, they like.
Oh my
let's
god!
make
I
a-
continuously feel it because like these characters are talking as if I'm supposed to know half.
It's very random. I think the game is mostly just like explory vibes game more than like.
Ironically, the biggest complaint I have, outside of the story being like introducing these characters and I'm supposed to know them, is like at times it gets really difficult to explore. Like if you do not go dead hard into like the flight, oh my god, it's a pain. It's a slog.
Oh.
There's no great way to climb upwards.
Yeah.
And then even too, like flying takes so much stamina that like unless you build into stamina, which I have, it's like I can't imagine what it's like.
I heard. I like last thing I remember doing in the game was there was I was trying to look up like the best like armor or whatever for like the female character and stuff like that or like the male character, and it was like, oh well, first you got to go to this town all the way to the north in the middle of the desert, just like town built around a big like waterfall that you have to go to, and I was just like, okay, sure. So I like from like the middle starting area close to the south, I went like all the way to the top of the map and like explored, did a bunch of missions on the way up there, but like that was my main goal. I did that, like explored this place. You had to like jump through all kinds of caves, jump through all kinds of waterfalls to get all these armor pieces around the city. And once I got that, I was like, all right. And then like I'm like probably maybe like 10-15 hours into the game, and I was like, all right, that's enough of that. And I went on a different game, but I didn't mind it. It was fun enough. It didn't really grab me. Obviously, like I'm a very story-focused person, so I can't just explore forever. So I was just like, I didn't even get the other big ogre guy playable character. I never fucking got that.
Oh damn! You
Yeah,
get him?
yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, no.
You get him when you take back Palworld. And ironically too, like I think like they set up that like slight spoiler is like they set up that main guy who takes you out in the beginning, and you fight him as a boss, and then he escapes, and he's like part of the story is like you're following where he went. But it feels so disconnected somehow.
Yeah.
They don't feel like anything. Like it is a shame because, like, well, honestly, too, like another big complaint at times is like the combat is really rough.
It's a little wonky, yeah.
Like,
but
like, and also too, like I feel like the scaling is like how some games like open world like they try to make it so like you're either like all at the same level or like progression is really like weird. It feels like it's got that weird vibe. It's like
weird, yeah.
I feel like at times like I'm dying to bosses like in 2 hits that way I shouldn't, or whatever, and like I'm and everything, and like I can die really easily if I'm not careful. But like honestly, the biggest thing I've learned is like you have to spend way too much money and time sometimes cooking.
Yeah, honestly, I make a bunch of the like shitty basic oats thing for food, and just have like 1,000 things of like food in my pocket anytime I do anything just to fucking heal up.
Well, see, I've unlocked a lot. I found two.
The clear soup is probably one of the best things. Yeah.
Like, but I got two, even just in general, like you need to unlock. You have to go through the Gary Mains. I got about 25 of them to help me to do stuff, and like you have to get those gray mains because like those getting those guys in, like you unlock like your own like armorer. And like getting those contracts, you can do everything at your camp.
Yeah.
I have my own like blacksmith now at the camp, and then the one dude sells stuff. So like I got to start working on getting those contracts better, because like you can literally do everything you want from like all those towns in your gray main camp, and it's a weird game.
Yeah, it's very odd.
It's weird. Like I hate it and I like it at the same time.
That's what everyone was saying about the game. Like it's very like not like on an individual level divisive. People are like saying this fucking sucks about it, but this I can't stop playing this part. It's like very weird.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have too many things I'm in the middle of playing. But like one last shitty movie to mention. Are you have anything else about Crimson? Okay, I'm about to say, have you seen the Return to Silent Hill?
Nope.
The third Silent Hill movie.
I think the second is the only one I've seen.
You haven't seen the first one?
I saw the first.
First one was legit.
We saw the second, I think, out in Solon, didn't we?
The one with dude from Game of Thrones and the Pyramid Head fighting the weird like sword lady, and that weird mannequin spider. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was whatever. But I hear the third, the one that's like a remake of the third game with like the father from the prison.
See, I don't know much about Silent Hill.
Oh, well, apparently this one's a huge piece of shit. With like completely... Oh, no, is it an adaptation of 2, maybe? I can't remember what the third movie came out. I think it might be an adaptation of one of them, but it's apparently awful and terrible and piece of shit. So we'll probably have to cover it on podcast someday. If we need another bad horror to cover, we can always do that. But yeah.
Which is funny, because you feel like Silent Hill should be a film that we could...
It should be easy.
It really should. I feel like ironically, like I think I've heard too. It's probably from Yahtzee. Shout out to Second Wind. or no, Rambunctious, sorry. Not the original.
Ramblomatic or whatever.
Ramblomatic, that's what it is,
Yeah.
Get rid of the old shit. But, like, I remember him mentioning, too, like, the Americanization of Silent Hill really fucked a bunch of shit up.
Yeah, if you follow the game, like, I follow a bunch of people who are massive, super fans of the series, and boy, like, they just rip into all the games after 2, like most people do. 3 has some merits, 4 is, like...
3 and 4 were weird.
3 people like, it has issues. 4, people say is, like... kind of bad, but then like the fucking 4 or 5 shitty,
4 was the room, right?
shitty American. Yeah, that's the room where you're like trapped in the room and you keep going to the little hole to Silent Hill. But every game after that was like completely derided as a huge piece of shit, and that's when it was like owned by an American company for a while. And then just recently with Silent Hill F, the Silent Hill 2 remake, and then the new upcoming one. People are saying they're fucking back to form, making actual bangers after like a fucking 2 decades of pieces of shit. They're saying they're like back to form now.
Which is funny because like I feel like they took a while to get back to where they could have been because I've talking about the third or fourth time I said this now. I'm sure we talked about the podcast, but PT.
Oh yeah, P.
I remember playing that. I'm wondering if he still has his PS3. So our friend of podcast, Chris Bow, is what I played it on. And we actually did get to beat it all. He had a microphone for us to connect. That was an experience.
Oh, yeah.
And as good and or bad as it was, I remember the key points on it. I remember how weird it was. And I remember the finale of walking out the door, to Silent Hills.
Yeah.
And shit. And I remember that. And it sticks with you, and I think that was, it was something I would have been into that game.
Oh yeah,
And I think Silent Hill, learning 2. I remember I never beat it, but I remember playing 2.
2 is like the number 1 pinnacle. Honestly, for many people, horror fans included, the greatest game of all fucking time. In a lot of people's opinions.
The voice actor for James' side. Which I feel bad because I know I own it now. Is friend of the podcast Chris had gotten a copy of Silent Hill 2 signed and met with him, but it's since come out. So that guy's a shithead. Yeah. So
happens.
So I own it because I'm a hoarder. I'm a collector, a hoarder.
Same difference.
But like I think people, one of the things I've heard talked about with Silent Hill, because I'm all over the place right now. Jesus Christ.
I mean, hey, we're the second recording of the day. Spoilers. Inside baseball.
How far are we in?
Take a guess. 2
hours?
Nope. Hour and 35.
Oh, geez, only?
Yeah.
Wow, only. That's a short.
We haven't mentioned Pokemon in like an hour.
But like I feel like Resident Evil, like the chaos of it all, outside of the zombies. But like with Silent Hill, I think that people forget about what Silent Hill 2 was great about it, like what certain aspects of it were. Like I've heard enough about like the fact that the sexy nurses aren't sexy nurses for the sake of being a creepy but fan servicey thing, but they are a representation of James' psyche, and Pyramid Head is a version of himself, kind of thing. But they just take the iconography of it, but not put ironically, just going back to our conversation, context. Yeah. Context matters. Silent Hill, like even 3 and 4, for all the things I've heard, is that them taking Silent Hill into this mindscape. Yeah. Silent Hill is built upon the psyche, the fractured mindscape of the protagonists. And one of the things that the Americanized versions did was they took that away and just put the sexy nurses and Pyramid Head without the context behind who they are and what they stand behind. Yeah. And it sounds like with Silent Hill, they've gone back to fixing that.
Yeah, no, they went back to the form, and it's incredible. The Silent Hill 2 remake, incredibly well received. So if you're going to play the game, you can probably just play that version, honestly. If you can't like stand PS1 graphics or whatever.
PS2.
Was it PS2?
I'm pretty sure.
Silent Hill 2, PS2?
Yes, it's
probably.
PS2
yeah, you're right.
I think original Silent Hill was. It might have been PS.
I don't know.
And see, I think too, it's it's fun to look back, and I'm sure everyone knows the story behind the fog. How,
because the resolution was shitty.
Right, like they literally couldn't. Literally, the game could not buffer it behind a certain point. The fog was what they added to hide it. And it's ironic that that's the most iconic thing. Like, to this day, you know, like, I remember years ago I was at a hotel and we looked outside, it was super foggy to go, we're in Silent Hill.
We still say that to this day. Even like me, who's never beaten a Silent Hill game, and my sister, who's never touched one, will still like see the fog outside and say like, "Oh, we're fucking in Silent Hill." Yeah. So yeah, it's iconic.
Yeah, and I think that's where
that generational limitation. Yeah,
and I think too, like that's where like leaning into things and understanding what things are is important. You know.
Yeah. I'm probably going to try to check out Return to Silent Hill, the piece of shit movie, just because we're talking about Silent Hill. I'm like, you know, I probably am not going to play F, even though there's someone that takes place in Japan in like the 60s. It's just one of the newer games that came out. Like I said, incredibly well received. Probably not going to touch it. Maybe watch an LP. I don't know. But and the new one with the black protagonist in, I believe, Ireland or something. He's an American dude. He's like in Ireland. It's crazy. Have you seen the trailers and stuff for the new Silent Hill? Looks fucking creepy as shit.
Black?
Yeah.
I'm surprised I have not heard of that yet.
Yeah,
because it's a black protagonist in Ireland. How have I?
But it's a Japanese game, so they don't care.
How have I not heard about the backlash to it from the channels that I watch? Because like, a lot of the channels I watch, a lot of games are like clowning on the people who get like major terrible. Like, didn't Starfield have a bunch of negative reactions because like, you could choose pronouns in it?
Yeah, you choose pronouns. That meme guy with the shitty guy yelling about
fucking pronouns.
Very stupid.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Have you played Starfield yet?
I'm not. It's good. It's another game I want.
I mean, it's probably Bethesda's most mid game ever. Like all the criticisms. I mean, like even from people besides that like goofy shithead, like across the board, people said the game was just like completely underwhelming mid. Like it's like honestly, have you played Cyberpunk at all?
Nope.
It's like boring Cyberpunk. It's like Cyberpunk if there was no edge, no grit, no like lived inness. If it was like a very sanitized, very like not even hopeful, just like bland, sanitized version of Cyberpunk. So you might as well just play Cyberpunk where everything's gritty and grimdark and goofy and crazy. But yeah. What are you gonna do?
It's so hard to find games nowadays. I don't know.
But there's also so many.
I feel old when I
there's a trillion games to play.
I'm not trying to find a game, and I'm like, I can't decide what I want to try.
I mean, honestly, I just switch between like.
I've gotten very cozy in my gaming.
I mean, if you see me on PS5, you see that I'm like switching between things like every fucking 10 seconds. So I'm like, I play something for like 10 minutes, switch to something else. Well, because like I constantly have like fucking iPod or my AirPods in, listening to like either a podcast or a YouTube video or something like that while I like, play mindless either fighting games or like exploring games or like Marvel Rivals and shit like that. Just whatever's available.
Quite ironically, a game that I got for a fairly decent price, but I didn't hate comparatively, was Stranded: Fountain of Youth. Like, it's got some like shitty-ish graphics and all that, and you can tell like there's like a big formula of like the survival games. But like I didn't hate it, surprisingly. Like, I played it a lot more than I thought I would. I've actually moved on to something else for a bit here, but like I don't hate it. And it's one I can actually play without like hard having to listen. Like, ironically, even Pokemon Champions, but also because that's so PvP.
Yeah. And
like I will say I did hit Master Ball last season.
Oh.
What helped me get there was I used Wolf's No Guard Snorlax team. I don't know. You don't have any Switch on you, do you?
No.
I was gonna say we could do actually a private battle
game. Yeah, we probably
and I could use Guard Fissure into you.
Well, let's see if you can do it with my fucked up random team. I mean, it'll be like when like a professional fighting game player plays somebody who's literally just button mashing, and they're just like, it's not a matter of strategy. It's a matter of I'm used to people knowing what they're doing, so I can't predict what you're actually going to do.
See, ironically,
and you're gonna see me being fucking flailing around doing random shit. And you're like, what the hell is this strategy? I'm gonna be like, I don't have one.
Ironically, at times, like that is my problem.
Yeah.
So like not like thinking, they're gonna go for an optimal play.
Yeah.
So I have to like hard predict around it. So like at times when I know someone's not gonna be like, even if they might make a predictable play, I know like if I make a play that is optimal or inoptimal to what they do, I'll still be fine. Like making those kind of plays, knowing that has helped me. But I recommend on ranked singles, mostly because I want to I'm trying to get a Mamoswine, and I keep trying to recruit it, and I keep failing. I needed to get like 4 Pokemon to build a team I wanted to build. I got like the first 3, like 1, 2, 3. Now I need Mamoswine. I can't fucking get it.
Hey, we'll get to that. We can't talk about Pokemon just yet. All right, so now it's time to move on to the third topic of our podcast at an hour 45 minutes. I'll start with a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. Comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. We are going to get into the monster taming game genre, which there are quite a few. But first I'm going to start with a couple that were actually pre-Pokemon. Okay. The first one is 1985's Cosmic Soldier, which was probably some shitty fucking Atari, ugly, like, pixel game where you would recruit enemy monsters to be on your team and fight other people. 1985, one of the first examples of this kind of genre of monster taming. After that would be the Megami Tensei games. That would later become Persona, Digital Devil Story, Digital Devil Saga, Shin Megami Tensei, 1987. Which now popularized in the Persona series, as I said, which there's a shit ton of monster and demon summoning, mostly like gods and myths and folklore creatures and stuff like that, where you do have to like actually like recruit and tame and control them, either craft them from. It depends on which game in the series you're playing to like how the actual mechanics work. But yeah, another one that's actually pre-Pokemon. And the next one would be Dragon Quest V, which would first introduce the class that would allow you to recruit and train monsters, later to be spun off into the Dragon Quest Monsters game, which I'll talk about when I get to Pokemon actual clones afterwards. But the first one was 1992's Dragon Quest V. And there were also a couple of RPGs that had like summoning classes and stuff like that before Pokemon. But then 1996 rolled around and Japan created Pokemon, based on, is it Shigeru Miyamoto? Who's the creator? I can't remember. But
no, that feels wrong.
Yeah, I think they like the Naruto creator or something.
That's the Mario guy.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I'm stupid. No, 1996 is when Pokemon rolled around, but of course we are not talking about Pokemon yet. So I have Satoshi what?
Satoshi. I'm pronouncing this wrong. Tajiri.
Tajiri? Okay. Yeah, I have quite a few Pokemon clones.
And Ken Sugimori, I think. Ken
Sugimori is what I was thinking of, probably. Alright, so yeah. A number of them came out after. Like I said before, in our Digimon episode, I mentioned that the company that made Bandai, I don't know if it was Bandai at the time, that created the Tamagotchi, needed a boy version to sell, so they made some dinosaurs with guns, and they created Digimon, spin-off from that. The Digimon series technically came out in 1997, so that's why it's kind of after, even though it is a spin-off of Tamagotchi, which was pre-Pokemon. That's why the argument's up in the air about those two series.
I mean, you could argue that like it may have come out after and probably built some inspiration on it, but at the same point, like it probably was in development before Pokemon came out, so it's like that's a very gray area.
It's very gray, and also it is like, as opposed to monster taming, it is one of those like monster recruiting games. Like I said, probably controversial opinion, pound for pound, I probably like Digimon aesthetics and anime more than Pokemon, personally.
I can't say that personally.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm
literally wearing not only all my Litwicks with me. There's a shit ton more downstairs.
Yeah,
I picked up the other day a Chimchar and Fampi tooth pack, and I'm literally wearing I believe there's a birthday gift or a Christmas gift that Leanne got me.
A cool ass Litwick shirt.
A Litwick Hawaiian style button up shirt.
Hell yeah, the kind I used to wear every day.
My bias is clearly on.
Oh yeah, obviously. Now, I'm a man who likes a dinosaur. Yeah, a dinosaur made out of guns, or just a regular hot woman in a weird like animal mask. They both get me equally horny.
I feel like I'm losing the horny
Hey man,
ears.
if you look up Gundramon, a dinosaur literally just made out of guns, I'm like, fuck yeah. His knees are revolvers. His fucking
what kind of knees?
These knees. They're made out of bullets. No, yeah. Yeah, the gun knees. Don't cancel the podcast, please. But yeah,
no, because we didn't make the joke.
Oh yeah. No, of course.
Also, we didn't put it in a trailer.
Yeah, we didn't put it in a trailer and aired in China like idiots. But no, yeah, fucking the Digimon aesthetic, I love it. The conceit of them being able to evolve into different patterns. Unlike Pokemon, you're not in the anime, you're not technically capturing them. You usually just have a single partner that you raise and digivolves according to how you raise it into multiple different paths. The games typically are monster like taming games where you just have one and you like raise it into like, you know, turns into another thing. You exercise with it because like every single Digivice that was released is pretty much a pedometer where you like, you know, run around and shake it and you do battles and that's how they progress. It's like it's a Tamagotchi, literally.
I think I had a Digivice.
Yeah, they released a shit ton of them. Yeah.
Back in the day at one point. I feel like I did. I cannot remember if I did or not.
Yeah, the games in the series, if you follow Jaden Animations, I'll get to YouTubers later. But like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, she tried to see what kind of Digimon game would be good and which ones were well received to play. People suggested like Survivors or Time Strangers and stuff like that. But
it's
like
all over the place.
The quality is all over the place, but also Digimon, honestly, as many people said in that like YouTube video comments, doesn't really live or die based on its games. That is a show that's mostly carried by the animes, which are like, as opposed to Pokemon, which is inarguably aimed at children, Digimon's much more mature, aimed at 12 to 13-year-old boys.
Also, too, I've heard like the card games have actually gotten like...
I was going to get, the TCG in a bit. I prefer the Digimon TCG also. That might just be biased, but I'll talk about my issues with the Pokemon TCG when we get to that in a billion years.
I mean, in general, TCGs might... Did they get it? I don't know. Like, I feel like the biggest issue at times with TCGs is like, one, there's exploitation of like vague or overdone rules, but also the fact that like
power creep is a thing in a lot of
power creep, and also too like the fact that it costs so much to get into them a lot of times.
Yeah,
and that's one thing, you know. We'll eventually talk about the games about Pokemon, but like, so Pokemon Champions is out now, obviously, and the fact that yes, you can play those games without spending money, is I think something that is. Yes, I get that they can spend money on them.
Yeah.
I already have. But like at the same point too, I also feel like they have pushed accessibility with Champions to such an extent that like in theory anybody could and can get into competitive Pokemon.
Yeah.
And they have pushed that more and more and more. Because like I have tried to start breeding Pokemon in like Gen even 5.
Yeah.
We have like the Destiny Knot, which allows you to transfer IVs. It's still a fucking hassle compared to what it is nowadays. Even before bottle caps, it was a lot easier to start to breed good Pokemon. Yeah. Like, it is... Accessibility is, I think, important because, like, at a certain point, when you acquire such an investment to get into it, it pushes good players out because if you can't afford it, you can't get in. Yeah. You know, but there are people who you give them the chance to get in and they will come up with the craziest strategies motherfucking ever. You know, and I think that's a good thing. That's a great thing.
That's true. I will say with, I'm not going to get into the mechanics of the Pokemon TCG I don't like, but the reason I do like the Digimon one more is that even if it is a deck of 60 cards, and like the mechanics are way different than most other TCGs, you are basically building off of one or maybe two evolution lines in those 60 cards, and it is mostly like support cards or trainer cards or like different mid forms for the Digimon to Digivolve through, whereas you're still working towards the strategy of like a single mega type that you're trying to get to, that I really, really fucking enjoy. The egg mechanic is very fun. It's a little extra thing. The actual like turn or mana based thing is very cool. It's a little yin yang thing that goes between players. I love the Digimon TCG. The current newest game, Digimon Time Strangers, a legit incredible, mature, fun JRPG with voice acting. I don't see the competition doing that anytime soon.
Which is wild in ZA because they right there.
They've had every opportunity.
Also, see that little motherfucker.
We have a little gnat bugging us again. But yeah, I like the games enough. I will say that they're also, not to throw shade, but since they are like very linear, but even if they have a couple of open world, but like very linear, focused, high production JRPGs, the production I think is significantly higher. Nice.
Sorry, I got him.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Sorry, listeners. But yeah, the production value is significantly higher than the competition Pokemon, I think. Time Strangers looks beautiful. And even things like the Survivors, which was, I remember I mentioned it on a Digimon episode, the visual novel one, with like occasional like tactics style combat. Also incredibly fucking mature, with lots and lots of death and serious abuse and analogies, and not even analogies, directly people abusing their Digimon, them digivolving into dark forms and then killing the fucking trainer. The game Survivors is legit really fantastic. Yeah, but yeah, Digimon, I love Digimon. I love all the fucking, I love the aesthetic of it. It's a great series. Even if it isn't competition, and it's still nowhere near as popular as Pokemon. Still a massive fan.
Like, one of the biggest issues at times is when things try to compare themselves as the new this.
Yeah.
Like, ironically, so Reboot the Genetic Opera is controversial in the Rocky Horror Picture Show community, especially amongst older, like, cast members, people who've been Rocky, because when it came out, the director and like the people trying to push it were like, this is going to take over Rocky. This is going to be bigger and better than it. And that rubbed a lot of people wrong.
I can imagine, yeah.
You know, to an extent. And, like, you know, like, that I think is important. Because, like, could it actually... Like, it's still enjoyed and it's... I think it's a fun movie. But, like, perception of it as the new Rocky Horror...
Oh, yeah. That pisses everybody off. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you don't get... It's kind of like someone trying to make a bad film. Like... Birdemic 1 and 2. Like, I've never seen 2 yet, but I based on what I've heard and everything, like, you know, even 2, like Tommy Wiseau, like, he made a new movie after The Room. Like, The Room and whatever Tommy Wiseau makes, knowing what The Room has become, what Birdemic is, you know, was made to be, and what Birdemic 2 is trying to capture, that is something that is you cannot capture. It is why those films are, I think, enjoyable. Is that they are earnest, they're honest, they are trying to be something, and even if you fail, you can make something unintentionally good. But trying to make a bad thing doesn't actually make a bad thing. Like a fun bad thing. They say bad thing. You know? And I think things trying to make the next Pokemon, the Digimon trying to be the next Pokemon, I think that's probably why, too. Like, I think I know, too, the original card game changed. Yeah. Completely. Since.
Oh, yeah. Completely. They had a brand new system made. Yeah.
And I think that's where really, the fact that it was trying to be its own thing instead of being a Pokemon clone is where it became...
Yeah,
and like where it became something good.
And they've had several animes that, like, several more mature animes. Currently, Beat Break is running. I believe it's on Hulu and like Crunchyroll and stuff like that. A very mature thing with a mature cast and everything like that. The anime has blanketly always been more mature, I think.
Oh yeah,
and also honestly, I
think that's why the original show I think was enjoyable.
Funny. One of the best isekai of all time, they say.
And it didn't feel like a Pokemon knockoff.
Oh no, it didn't feel like Pokemon because like I said, it's single partner. They have them from the beginning. They transform into big giant monsters and then go back to the cute forms, which is another thing people really enjoy about it.
Yeah. Now, ironically, I'd almost argue that Pokemon did with Mega Evolutions.
Well, but I'll get into my opinion about those a billion years from now. but
yeah, because then getting them back has been wild. I won't lie. I didn't think we were getting Mega Evolutions back anytime soon. We got them and got more.
I mean, there's a ton of gimmicks that I wish would come back and something that I hope I never see again. Number of monsters wise, they do boast 12 to 1,600. I don't think they've ever stated it, but Pokemon currently sitting at 125. Or sorry, 1,025 is what Pokemon is sitting at. They boast about 12 to 1,600, but like many of the other lists you're going to see, of the other Pokemon knockoffs, there are a number of like mild color variations and like alternate side forms and antibody forms that they count as different Digimon. So the actual number is probably still sub 1,000. Next one, later that same year, we are transported to a faraway land, a world where monsters rule, Monster Rancher. 1997.
I remember this.
2 days after my 7th birthday, in November 30th.
They had a TV show as well, right?
Yeah, we mentioned this also in the episode about, I remember I was like, now time on the Digimon episode to talk about the competition, Monster Rancher. And then we went into that bullshit. What was a fucking description? God made monsters to help people, but they caused too many issues, so he still sealed them away in DNA discs, which means that the way that you get your Monster Ranchers is that you literally open up your PS1 and put in random CDs or DVDs, and you just get random monsters. Sometimes they did have associated, like if you put in the Harry Potter movie, you get like a weird like hippogriff-looking monster. There were a couple of specific CDs where you get like specific monsters from and stuff like that. Of course, shit ton of rare Japanese ones, but yeah.
I forgot about that, but I think that's fun. Like the idea of like your like the fact that what you put in could give you something specific. Or...
Yeah, there are a couple of like specific games. Like I think the Batman movie gave you like a bat creature, and it was like there's a lot of like really hyper like tie-in stuff that they did back then. Of course, the iconic mascot of the franchise, Suezo.
Is that the holder looking thing?
That's that big eyeball on like a penis looking piece of shit. Yeah, that is Suezo, the iconic Monster Rancher, the ugliest piece of shit you could imagine.
I don't remember anything about those games or showed, but I remember it existed.
Yeah, it was basically, the games themselves are literally like ranch simulators where you are just like farming and growing crops and like occasionally, rarely battling, but otherwise you're just like raising and taming the monsters as to be like a pal or whatever the fuck. There are about roughly like 30 to 40 monster types, but they have, each of those has like dozens and dozens of recolors and like little fucking horns or attachments added onto them, getting their number up to like the most recent game from like 2004 to have like 300 or 400 monsters total. A completely forgotten franchise that is only brought up, like Billiam said, only brought up when talking about Pokemon knockoffs. It's the only time anybody remembers Monster Rancher exists.
I mean, yeah.
It sucks.
It's a shame because I feel like the concept was fun. The thing I remember it being a fun concept, but it kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I mean, they look like, I think the monsters look horrible. The monsters look like absolute shit. A lot of them, besides just Suezo, who I'll never stop mentioning Suezo because he looks so stupid, there's a ton of other shitty monsters in that show that are not really iconic in the slightest. Now, I forgot to mention, 2 days before that, on my actual 7th birthday, the November 28th, 1997, Metabots.
Can't say I remember that one.
Okay, it was the one with the kid. It's basically a world in the future where like people have little AI robots that like little like knee-high robots that like fight for them in tournaments and shit. It's the future where robots are common helpers. The protagonist wants to be the Row Battle champion, so he fights fucking. It's another Pokemon ripoff. Yeah, an evil scientist who's using like weird metals for mind control. And there's all kind of other.
It sounds like Pokemon meets Mega Man.
Yeah, basically, it's literally probably closer to a Mega Man ripoff than a Pokemon ripoff. Like I said, another completely forgotten franchise. The only reason it's even slightly become relevant is because they've had a couple of PSP games and shit like that over time. Completely, like, nobody gives a shit about it. But in 2016, they released a new game. What was it called? Metabots Girls Mission. Where the big gimmick was whenever you have a fucking row battle and your fucking robot beats the other opponent, it, like, blasts the other female competitor's clothes off. Yep. Look it up, everybody. Metabots Girls Mission. The main gimmick is that it's female traders, and whenever they lose, they get their clothes blown off. A real game.
Ironically, that was made in 2026.
Yeah, somehow.
I feel like that would be a game.
No, 2016.
I was saying, it's not 2026.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like a game that all these fucking, like, dumbass motherfuckers would fucking goon over, like, and make it have the actual decent sales. Yeah,
probably. I mean, the game completely, like I say, it flopped like most things Metabots because nobody cares. Just like most, like literally.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this, and maybe this is controversial. The gimmick of you blowing off the opponent's clothes, I think you could actually make it work if it wasn't just you win the battle, so you get this. Like,
yeah.
And again, I'm like, think about the idea of not only just women's clothes, but men's, but like you have to like especially in nowadays with games, and maybe I'm just pitching this now. So there's a game where you can do that, but you have to hit certain conditions.
Yeah.
You have to win with a certain whatever they're called. Or you have to do a certain amount of damage threshold, or use this as a finisher, or if there's levels or something like that, or even to like you have to like win like a string of battles in a row to get this one specific character. Like, but something that's not like a bait. Like, a lot of times games say like, oh, if you do this, and this, you unlock this. Like, don't put all that in there. This should be one of those like secret things you have to unlock and work towards, and like it gets shared around.
Yeah.
Because that, again, it's, you know, the idea of pure female exploitation. I'm not a fan of.
Of course not.
But the idea of like there's a boost or a boon or a good thing to, you know, a quote unquote like fan servicey thing, if you meet certain conditions that actually require work and effort. Not only does that put longevity into your game of people having to go and play it, but it also brings the word of mouth into it. So, like, listen, if you're gonna have your fan service, don't just give it to fucking people. Make people fucking have to earn it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, listen, I can take a picture of my feet right now and whatever. But if I put on a pair of socks and shoes and shit, and I take a picture of that, and I say, if you want to get, if you want my shoe off, you need to send me a picture of you doing this and you doing that, and then do this, and you make people earn it. It's a hell of a lot. Not only is it more enjoyable, but it's more satisfying. Yeah. And I'm not even saying that in the fan servicey way.
Yeah.
You know, like just don't fucking hand us things, okay? Make us have to earn our fucking spank bank material. Thank you very much.
If you want to go into Metabot's girls mission on the PSP or some bullshit.
Exactly.
Anyway.
I'm going to masturbate to a PSP game. I mean,
there's better choices. PSP has a shit ton of fucking Japanese smut.
I want to earn it. I want to have spent hundreds of hours unlocking the highest level of fan service to make my nut that much creamier.
Of course. Speaking of creamy nuts, another classic from Matthew, 2005's Dinosaur King. Hey. I'm sure another one you've never heard of, Ed.
Nope. I was myself, and I thought I pulled the scab off.
Oh, boy.
I can't tell.
God.
I
Dinosaur King 2005. It's more of a Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff where you have the fucking little cartoon dinosaur sidekicks, but you scan cards or some bullshit to make them into bigger dinosaurs. Again, a completely forgotten franchise that like barely exists outside of Japan.
Ironically, that part made me think about it potentially, but
What?
I can't say I do. That you have to like scan cards?
Yeah, it's a game. It's you have to like scan cards in your little reader, and then you summon big dinosaurs, and then they do fights. They have actual physical cards that you can buy like in packs and stuff like that for like the arcade games. But other than that, it's like basically monster battling thing. I think there's a couple of like chibi little mascot monsters in it. I've never given a shit about it, of course, even though it is dinosaurs and Matthew loves dinosaurs. The next major one, after Pokemon and after Digimon, the next biggest one, 2012's Yokai Watch.
I do remember that. Also,
Okay.
Oh, God.
Ed is over here bleeding like crazy on the podcast. He pissed the shit out of himself.
I itched myself.
Now he is bleeding everywhere, folks.
I looked at it 2 seconds ago and I wasn't bleeding. And then I go into it again and I'm like, oh, Jesus.
No, Jesus Christ. Now, have you ever touched any of the Yokai Watchies?
I have not. And it's more so just been a matter of getting a copy of the game.
Yeah, also
for a decent price.
I despise the DS. Now that it's out of my life, I can finally say that proudly. I fucking hate the DS. It's not made for my big man hands. It's made for tiny Japanese children, which is like the opposite of me. So I can't play. I never was comfortable playing it. And now that it's like gone forever, I have no interest in ever playing any DS games like that.
See, I think for me, ironically, it's easier for me now because I totally play them on my very legitimate thing on stream all the time, of course.
Yeah,
I never
totally legit bots.
I'm not emulating on my shit.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, no, like taking that aside, like no, I'm impressed by some of these games, and I don't know, I just can't. Isn't that, I don't know, I remember hearing weird stuff about those games.
They're very odd. They're by level 5, the people who do, what the fuck is it called? Professor Layton and shit like that, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they do a couple of other games and shit. But, yeah, you play as a main kid walking around this weird haunted town where you play, like, you fight or find.
Like, they're straight up, like, demons.
Yeah, they are Japanese yokai, which are just like Japanese ghosts and spirits and monsters and demons and shit like that. There's like cartoon anime versions of them. I think that I believe like normal people can't see them, but they are like affecting people, and like just like all the Japanese history that they have as you know, like as monsters in the Japanese lore, they like do certain stuff for certain like, you know, haunting aspects or, you know, spooky shit or something. It's like,
isn't like the main mascot like a weird straight up like ghost?
yeah, it's like a little ghost guy, but there's like tons of like the Nekomata or like the Ryobi. If you know like, or like what is it, the Yukiona, like all, if you know a lot of they're very famous. Like if you played anything Japanese that has monsters in it or Japanese yokai in it, you know a lot of the monsters from like just Japanese cultural osmosis, but they're like cartoony versions that like you capture and train like monsters pretty much.
I remember, it's funny too to say that because like I know like Frostlass is based on like Yuki.
Yeah, Yukiona. Yukiona was like the ice, the ice snow woman. Yeah, that's like a famous one. The what the fuck is it called? The woman with the long neck. I forgot. It's like Ryobi or Ryoki or something like that. There are tons of like specific monsters that it's all based off of. But another thing that like aspect that we'll get in with related to Pokemon, every single yokai monster has like a very hyper specific situation that like caused or generated or whatever it is, and it's like a very like weird thing. It's like, oh, this like ugly dog with an old bald man face is like, oh, this is the ghost of a man who was, you know, killed by a dog or whatever the hell. Or like this guy, it looks like a fucking person with like a butt for a face, and it's just like, oh, this is the guy who like was hit by a truck in the butt while like, you know, crossing the street and died. And it's like hyper specific ghosts and whatever. But there's also, since it's an RPG like Pokemon, there's like hundreds of them around that you fight all the time, so it doesn't make any sense.
But are there like duplicates of them?
Yeah, there's duplicates of them, but there's also just like multiple of this monster that's supposed to be like a hyper-specific situation. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And that'll also get into an aspect of some Pokemon that I'll get into later about like incredibly hyper-specific origins or descriptions that don't really make sense for them to be like a common thing that happens all the time. We'll get into them when we get into it. But that's just a hyper-specific annoyance that I and a couple of other people have with the Yokai Watch series. Total number of monsters in Yokai Watch currently, as of the newest game, which I can't remember when the last came out, there are about 750 unique monsters, but there are, like I said before, a lot of variants and recolors and like little fucking texture add-ons that get them to over 1,000.
Which is funny because, like, that's one thing about Pokemon that...
Oh, yeah, they are all unique in Pokemon.
Well, there
except is... paradoxes aside, I think.
Not even. There is, ironically, spoiler for my least favorite trio, a group that I think is not great.
There's a lot of groups that I think are great. When we get to our least favorites, there's a ton of complaints about that. But yeah, Yokai Watch, interesting series. It's died down in popularity over time. I don't think they've never had like I think they had maybe a Japanese only Switch game or two, but it's never popped off in America. Like handheld or not console wise ever.
I can believe that. I feel like it got big.
I feel like
every so often there's like that game, and then, you know, I'm sure when it's on your list that kind of pop up as this is very Pokemon inspired, but this, and they kind of eventually fall off.
Oh, yeah, they usually do fall off. None of them have ever captured the attention. Digimon Time Stranger did do incredibly well. Most of the Digimon games do fairly well. Like I said, it's the only like actual competitor with the competition, the main series we're talking about.
But I mean, especially nowadays, like I feel like Pokemon and Digimon are so far apart from what...
Oh, narratively, they have nothing except for the like idea of monsters. But that's like, yeah, like I said, comparing Persona to Pokemon, it's like, why the fuck would you even do that? Yes, you control monsters, but that's so not important to the actual narrative or tone of the games.
Yeah.
So why compare them?
And that's like comparing God of War and Tomb Raider. It's like they're both a main character exploring. Yeah,
you're doing an Explorer. It's not the same. Yeah,
but they've gone so completely different from where they're at. Once were
wildly different. Next up would be another series that this one I'm 100% certain Ed's aware of. 2016's Monster Hunter Stories.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, have you played? You played 1 and 2, correct?
I actually only played 2. Never
really?
played 1. I got to play 3. Yeah, I got 2. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, I loved 1 on the DS. I got stuck on the Steel Uragon, the one with a bunch of cyborg parts on it. I got stuck in the first game. Second game I completed. I fucking loved it. Bought all the amiibos, even though I don't buy amiibos. But I've started 3. I didn't make a lot of progress. I kind of fell off of the game just because I have a shit ton of other things I'm in the middle of playing of as well.
I just haven't picked it up yet because I feel like that's a game I want to play on my Switch, but I know it's on Switch too, and I hadn't had a chance to do my trade with friend podcast Chris Bow yet, which I'll be doing here shortly. It's on my list, ironically after Pokepedia.
No. Pokopia?
Pokopia. Pokepedia, Pokopia. Victini, Vicini.
Yeah, Victini,
Same thing.
Michini, Michono.
But no, like I see. I think about Monster Hunter Stories, like it definitely does feel like. I mean, obviously it's a monster training game.
Yeah.
But like I think it's because it's a spin-off of a different world.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like.
I mean,
not
I
like
don't-
when you play certain Pokemon games that are spin-offs and they feel very more like Pokemon Conquest feels like a Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like the idea of that, you know, changes the way you look at some of these titles.
Yeah, that's true. I do enjoy the Monster Hunter games. I do love the idea of like the monster taming the monsties and everything like that. I've mentioned it on our Monster Hunter episode again explicitly. I would love for this kind of like build or character or even like narrative to pop up in the actual main games in some way or fashion. If not even as a playable character, just like you in like the main games, seeing like a village of monster riding people and just being like, what in the fuck is going on? It's just like seeing the monsties in real comparison to the actual regular monsters you're killing all the time.
I mean, I think that, you know, in a way, you know, we talked about, you know, a way before World came out was like, I feel like Monster Hunter World did a great job of making these monsters like they don't feel like just things we're killing.
Yeah.
Like they like the fact too, like before we show up there, it's like yeah, we know how to avert the monsters. We know what, you know, scares them away. We know how to survive these events. But it was this one variable that threw off events that we were tracking that changes things to an extent.
Yep.
And I like that idea of this, you know, and I think that I feel like with Monster Hunter, honestly, you know, I'm going to make our call here since we're talking about it now, and last time we talked about ideas in Monster Hunter that came true. I think we're going to get some Monster Hunter, like, taming, like,
I would love
storytelling in the DLC.
In the DLC, I would love for us to see a Monstie taming village.
Think about the way the world works in Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
Or Wilds. Like, even World started it, but Wild especially. Like, I mean, it is an environment. It is not just you go out and kill the monsters. Like, yeah, we do that. But
Conservationism is like the background of the series to justify all the crazy monster hunting. Yeah.
yeah, and I think the fact too that like a lot of the problems came from the creation of inorganic monsters. Mm-hmm. You know, and them, like I think the Guardians and all them.
Yeah, a very fun aspect of the story.
The fact that we talked about that all ahead of time and
I said like it's been in like reference books and like lore Bibles for the series for a very very long time, and like Wilds just finally put it to the forefront and made it more like explicit and explored it in a credible way. I still have not fucking beaten Omega Weapon, or I don't have gotten to Gogmazios. I haven't had time to fight Gogmazios yet, which I
fought
really
him once. It's nowhere near as fun as it was
still.
on DS.
I just want to see my Gogmazios, my favorite legendary dragon.
I think the problem was like there's, ironically on one hand it is a bit easier because you have like a NPC assistant to an extent, but also
A lot of quality of life things you didn't have on the DS as well.
honestly, I feel like it doesn't feel as massive either, and like there's some real bullshit attacks. Like there's one like that makes the whole like ground lava like heated, so you have to go in like one or two areas, and it's like, but if those aren't possible, it's like it's so easy to just like continuously wipe. Yeah, it's not as good, nowhere near as good, and like I like the idea of just you versus it in this big arena. And the moving arenas, at times it works with some monsters. I definitely think it works with some, but like I think they try to do it too many times, and I think that was a monster that I don't need the Gogmazios to be moving around all this. I need it to be in one spot. We are defending in this one area. Yeah, we have built up and prepared this area to stop it. And I think that they kind of lost that from that.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Also, one thing I just fucking more, digging up old stuff from the last episode we did about Monster Hunter. We did forget to mention, or at least we didn't point out that the jump in actual game engines from the DS to the RE engine for World Forward. That's why like so many of the mechanics and everything were changed, and so many like aspects of the old 3DS games didn't carry over, like the Palico stuff. But yeah, it was a completely new engine from Monster Hunter World forward for Rise and Wilds and everything like that, and all the Monster Hunter Stories games as well.
I believe that.
But yeah, the RE engine, which is they use for all their stuff now, including all the Resident Evil games, Capcom, all the Street Fighter games. That's the new RE. That's the engine Capcom does for everything these days. But yeah, very, very interesting. Like I said, I love stories. I gotta finish 3, but I have too many other things I'm in the middle of. I'm like playing the DLC for Time Stranger with all the Bancho Digimon, like Bancho Leomon, like the Japanese thugs with like the big jackets. That's the Banchos. There's Bancho Leomon, Bancho Lilymon, Bancho Maimon, Bancho Golemon. It's like all these fucking cool fucking Japanese.
Edamon. There's Edamon.
Oh, well, Edamon, King Edamon. There's fucking Metal Edamon. He's fucking still
It's
awesome as
Edamon.
a. Oh yeah, it's Edamon. So there he is. Oh god, he's the best.
I'm gonna take care of you, Digidestin.
I'm the best villain ever was.
Constant crush.
God, he is fucking great. Now, the next one after Monster Hunter Stories would be Nexomon.
Wait, Digimon now?
No, the 2017 game Nexomon, where you like the creatures called Nexomon. It's basically like a direct more Pokemon. It's on PS4 and stuff.
I think that's what I think.
It was on sale. For
I think I might own that
PS5.
on Switch. Hold on.
Yeah, go see if you do.
Right here.
I got it on PS4 for some kind of like discount or some kind of special.
Hear me look through all my Switch games.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, there's a Nexomon and then there was a Nexomon 2 release. Also, I forgot to mention.
There's our Monster Hunter Stories too.
Hell yeah. I forgot to mention that Monster Hunter Stories, guess how many monsters there are in Monster Hunter?
I have no clue.
141.
Huh.
Yeah, very low compared to some of the other
Nexomon
ones.
Extinction.
Yeah, I think it's the second one. Extinction might be the second game. But
Yeah, I remember playing it and be like, oh, this is hard Pokemon coded.
Oh yeah, it's very, very difficult. It's also literally from the title on, you can tell it's directly Pokemon coded. Nexomon are creatures that help the humans. The Nexo Lord is what controls the planet. They have 4 champions that spread power to they give him power. It's very weird. Like it's more like specifically just dystopian, I guess, than any of the other things. A series I don't really have much to say about because I got like a starting area, where you're basically basically around a starting area, and I kind of like wandered off from it, just completely lost interest a little bit. Not much else to say about it. I didn't really do much research. I own both the games, like I said, on some kind of sale. I got both Nexomon and Nexomon Extinction. There are 381 Nexomon creatures, but there are again a bunch of recolors and texture addeds that get them up to about 600. Yeah, not a huge fan of the series. I tried a little bit of it. Another big one this was another touted as a huge competitor back when.
Which one is going to be?
This is going to be 2018's Temtem.
Nope, I don't want to know.
Yeah, there's too many. There's a lot more than you think.
Never heard of this one.
You never heard Temtem? It was like a free-to-play PC exclusive for a bit. Full-on Pokemon clone, but like all the battles are double battles. That's the only way you play the game is all double battles. It was kickstarted. There are 6 floating islands, and each of them has a boss. There's an evil organization, of course. This one was more like an MMO, though, because you see like all the other players and whatever server you're on, you see all the other people walking around doing their training, doing their playing, and everything like that. So it's like a big, open, connected world while everyone's running around in the grass, finding their fucking Temtems. A couple of fun designs. It doesn't have evolution mechanics. Like I said, it's based on double battling all the time, so probably some actual Pokemon fans were behind the design, and it was kickstarted from the ground up. So that's another fun aspect of it.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's on PS5 and PS4, 5, and PC. So that's one other reason, because it was a Pokemon game for PC that people were finally happy about, kickstarted and all that. So very fun game. I had a lot of fun with it. I got decently far. I think I got like most of the island bosses, but again, I fell off because there's too much other things to play.
MMO though, so I don't like.
I mean, it's not like it's just like an online all the time game. Yeah,
I don't like online all the time games.
I'm sure they have some kind of like offline servers or something. 164 Temtems. Decent game, probably worth checking out. I don't know if it's free to play or not. I can't remember. Next one, will Ed know this one? Because it is, let's see, 2018. Next would be...
Stalling tactic.
Yeah, stalling tactic. This one you probably are the one you've been thinking about for a while. 2021 Palworld.
Yes, this is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, this one was pitched and memed about as Pokemon with guns and slave labor. Everyone was memeing about the pictures of like the giant fake Electrive with like a bunch of machine guns, or like the line of like fucking Leafeons on a conveyor belt making weapons and house parts while getting whipped by the owner. Just like tons of people memeing about that stuff.
Have you played it?
Oh yeah, at the end of the day, it's Ark. It's Ark Survivor, but with a vague Pokemon skin on it.
I picked it up finally, and I played it, and like I wanted to like it more. I really did. I tried.
Have you played any Ark?
I tried once and I hated it.
I mean, I only enjoyed Ark when I played. It's another always online game. Sometimes I made my own server. I turned the like catch rate up to 1,000. I turned the pain to me rate down to like fucking 0.1. Changed like crafting materials up to like fucking times 20. I just
Ark or
Ark, yeah, Ark, and just like completely fucked up the game. Made a completely broken server for just me to play on. Tamed all the dinosaurs I wanted to tame and played around with that for a bit, and then got bored with it. But my second cousin. Yeah, my second cousin came over and saw me playing it because he's a fucking huge, definitely autistic. I think he was diagnosed, but he's like a huge like fan of like games and anime and Legos and stuff like that. I talked to him, we hang out, we've been to some cons together with him. He's a pretty cool kid. I mean, he's like now probably in his 20s. Like he's out of high school. But anyway, yeah.
Have you ever in his 20s now?
No, second cousin. He's a little kid, or what the fuck ever. Anyway, he saw me playing. Yeah, I know. He saw me playing Ark, and he was like, "What's this weird? Like, why is this version of Ark weird? Why is it called these dinosaurs and stuff?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, why aren't there like Pokemon and stuff like that?" I'm like, "What the hell is it?" So he watches streams of back in the day of people playing Ark, but it was just like Pokemon mods of Ark. And then fucking Palworld comes out where it's literally just Ark with a Pokemon skin on it. So I played a bunch of it. Actually, I sat down and really dedicated my time. I played a couple of hours of it. I got decently far. I captured some of the fucking evil team people in the Palworld balls. When you find out, like, oh, you can capture people? What the hell? It's like a fucked up game.
I made to one point, I built my little area, and like, I don't know, I think the problem I have is it wants you to push forward, but at the same point, like, it wants you to have like a
base.
Yeah, and it's like those two things are very opposed
to
each other,
yeah.
and I think that was my biggest complaint with it at times, and it was just like, I wanted to like it more.
That was my issue with V Rising, the like vampire surviving game or whatever. It seemed like you make a base, you put a bunch of like crazy machine mechanics, like this one's spinning out constant wood that you put into this machine to make like constant tables, so when you put into this machine to make constant whatever the fuck. But you do all that in one fucking area, and then like it expects you to go out, explore, travel like several miles away in dangerous territory. But, like, you leave all your shit in one fucking place, and if your pockets get full, you make a fucking random chest to put all your shit in, so you can keep exploring, and then you can't get back to your own fucking base. And your shit. It's like, that's why I don't inherently enjoy the survival genre, because they expect you to make several camps. I mean, you're what the fuck is the one you're playing, the 2 survival game? The one with all the mechanics and stuff like that. The one you fucking played. The one where you had like all the like shipping containers, making all the stuff to each other, sharing.
Satisfactory?
Satisfactory, yes. It's like that, but it expects you to like be really isolated from yourself, and it's not usually like a crazy easy way to get around in those games efficiently. And so like most survival games that aren't like as specific as Satisfactory, I'm not a fan of the genre.
See, I think one thing about Satisfactory that was nice was like you had your home base, but like part of it too was like, I mean, I like even after you spread out, like you would still like build your conveyor system back, or like you build like transportation to move around, and even too like thinking about a game like a home base to an extent is like No Man's Sky. Yeah. But like it's easy to jump now between your base and like the star system, whatever. Like it's a lot easier to move around and stuff like that. I think that's an important thing. If you're gonna have a base, like it has to be easy. Like in Palworld, I was going around and like I get super, super, super far. Then I had to find my way all the way back. Cause there's no good way to get back to that.
I mean, the main thing you're supposed to do, I guess, is what they want you to do is to get a PAL that has flying or riding, like one of the deer ones or one of the flying monk dragon knight looking ones, and just like fly back to your fucking base whenever you need to get out of an area or whatever.
But at the same point, like they want you to collect a billion things.
Yeah, you have to collect a billion things. You have to collect the shit to make the fucking harness and everything. You have to train the monster and put it on. Then it's a lot of, but like that's what people like about those kind of Ark survival games. games like that, or monster taming ones.
It didn't capture me the same way.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I only enjoyed Ark when I cheated the shit out of it. So, yeah, Palworld also can't mention that without mentioning the big Nintendo lawsuit that was going on for the last couple of years.
They lost it though, didn't they?
I think they still had to pay them something, and they had to remove the main sticking point, real trademark specific that they were harping on was the fact that you captured the PAL creatures in balls, and that was the main issue. All the other ones I mentioned so far, you do not catch them in balls. You catch them in other devices, or you train them, or you generate them from a computer, or whatever the fuck. But that one specifically, you would throw a ball in a very Pokemon-like way, and that was Nintendo's main thing. So I think that they ended up having to pay Nintendo maybe like I said, I'm not. There's no way to find out what actually happened, of course.
Yeah,
but I believe the article I tertiarily looked at for a millisecond at some point said something about they had to pay maybe $100,000 or something like that to Nintendo for something like that, and then they to completely remove the ball mechanic from the game. So now you just I don't know, put them in boxes or some shit. I have no idea how you train the pals now, but that's the main resolution of it. The game came out, the 1.0 version. It was just shown at this year's pseudo E3 State of Play. So yeah, what you do is some other method of catching and taming them, but it's still basically the same thing. Same Arc Pokemon skin, very clear, fucking practically same models ripped from Pokemon, honestly. But
one thing that was interesting, it was very Let's Go coded, where it's the more you caught, the easier it was to catch more, and you got experience and stuff. So it was encouraging you to, and it was encouraging you to catch them more over and over and over again. Yeah. Whereas outside of Let's Go, a lot of the Pokemon games is you want one and then you train that one.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of these games.
Yeah, except for fucking ZA. They want you to catch 100 of the same fucking Pokemon and stuff your boxes. But they'll get to that.
That's the Legends games were like that though. That was Legends Arceus was the same way.
Honestly, I didn't feel the need to do that in Legends Arceus though. For some reason, whatever. We'll get to the Pokemon. We'll get to Pokemon. Never. Because we're probably gonna end this episode without talking about Pokemon proper. But yeah, Palworld. They specifically removed the ball mechanic, and they gave a surprisingly tiny amount of money, I think, to Nintendo, and then they went on with their day, announcing the full game 1.0 version coming this year or whatever. 187 unique monsters in that series. Not that big. The last one and the most recent one that I know my sister played and then hated and deleted, Cassette Beasts.
Never heard of that one.
It's a PC only one. Players tame or they turn into monsters using cassettes to battle. It's a very weird, unique system. You record the monsters to learn them, and then you use the cassettes to it's music based and stuff like that. Apparently very unique. Like I said, PC exclusive. They have about 120 monsters, but they have a weird fusion mechanic where you can fuse the monsters together, and that makes them gets them to about over 1,000 or so possibilities. Yeah, Cassette Beasts on PC. I think she may have bought it on something else, but she really did not enjoy it. She ended up refunding it.
I was surprised you did not mention at all Kaitai Denju Telefang.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It was there's two games that came out for the Game Boy Color, and there was one fan game that ended up using it, and what game was it? Fuck, I can't remember. There was a game that altered Emerald, and you actually fought the. Oh, I think was it Snakewood? I think it was Pokemon Snakewood. Ended up in the Mount Pyre area. They literally just straight up went to Telefang. You fought straight up the Telefang monsters. That's so silly. We'll get to that conversation, but Snakewood was oh, have you heard about that one at all?
I'm vague. The name sounds familiar. I'm like I said, I'm going to leave the ROM hack talking to you on your end. Okay, I don't know. That game, I don't know zero about any of those. Pretty much.
That game was wild. But I tell you, I learned about it. That, and I think JonTron is bootleg games.
Oh yeah. There are a couple. One. Yeah, I think I might have. There was one game for the Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color that I could not find the name of because it was so esoteric, but it was another really shitty Pokemon ripoff that I played the first hour or two of it over and over again because I couldn't get past something. I can't remember what the fuck it was called. I remember it's vague ugly little designs of like the characters from the back. I don't remember jack shit about it. I don't remember the name of it. I have no idea what the fuck it was. But yeah, completely erased from my memory because I was too busy playing actual Pokemon games at the time. But yeah, Pokemon spin-off, Pokemon rip-offs, they are a very unique monster taming genre. Like I said before in other things, I enjoy monster taming classes. I enjoy summoning classes. That's why my favorite Pokemon, when we get to it's going to be my favorite Pokemon. But it's a very unique genre that I do like, and I wish more things were more experimental with it, and I wish there was some more high-quality ones to actually compete with some of Pokemon's more low-quality efforts. But, it's, what are you going to do? I guess that's what the ROM hack genre is for people who prefer that kind of thing. But, yeah, like I said, comparison is the thief of joy, so let's compare some more. But now we're actually going to get into the actual franchise of Pokemon for the first time, now at 2 hours and 30 minutes
Hell yeah.
into the episode. One of the people I follow, TB Sky, and he's a YouTuber who has a bunch of stuff. He's talking about how, the long-term reception of Pokemon, the inherent concept based on the beetle fighting from the creators Youth or whatever, which is still at the end of the day that's is animal abuse, and it's not good to have animals fighting. And then of course all the what the fuck PETA comparisons to dog fighting and stuff like that. The inherent lesson, though, of Pokemon is that they enjoy fighting. They are intelligent creatures, close to human intelligence, if not exactly equal to human intelligence.
Well, some of them are even smarter than humans.
Yeah, some of them are smarter than humans, which is a very factual...
According to the Pokedex, which...
According to that.
Some of the that'll be conversation, because some of these Pokedex entries out there are wild.
Yeah, but the fact that you are, taming these monsters or catching them against their will or forcing them into battle or whatever the hell, he went into TB Sky and talked about how that is why the anime is the way that it is, including this movie, where it focuses a lot on them choosing to go with Ash in the anime. Most of the ones that he recruits in the first series, they decide to go with him after he has an adventure with them, hanging out with them, befriending them, and then they're like, hey, you know what, Ash, I want to join you, and then that's how he gets the Squirtle and the Charmander and the Bulbasaur, the Pikachu, the Butterfree, everybody joins him over time. And Caterpie, I think he just caught. But everyone after
he battled in Caterpie as well.
Yeah, but a lot of the later ones, they befriend him, and then that's why he is so willing to give them up, which he does a shit ton. If you follow the anime over time, he gives up so many of them. It's not even funny. But
technically, one he does not ask to join him, but he does catch anyways in Primate.
Yeah, that's true. That was kind of an accident. I can't remember what happened with that Mankey.
So that was the one where it steals the donuts and at Ash's hat.
Yeah.
And they get mad at it and it causes it to evolve.
Yeah.
And then it's chasing them for a whole shit ton.
Yeah.
To the point where and eventually they have to stop running and fight it and take it out, and he decides to catch it.
Yeah, it actually becomes a friend of his that he uses a couple times, and it's very helpful. But
I will say, I think Primate is a good example, though, is because, he catches it, but he doesn't listen to it.
Yeah.
Until he shows, and even Pikachu, to an extent, does not befriend Ash until he shows what kind of trainer he is.
That he's a really kind person and all that. But yeah, that's why the game, they try to, tempt that, weird accusations of, animal abuse or fighting and all that kind of stuff down, with that kind of aspects of it.
Which is interesting, because even, in this movie, there's a character who talks about Pokemon in a very... he is straight up super villain coded, but he gets moments where it's I remember, you bit me when I first met you, and
there's
the way he talks and works with some of these Pokemon is
there's a really interesting dynamic that we'll get to probably even between me and your own mentality on the Pokemon, how to play and all that kind of stuff like that. We'll get to it eventually, but I do want to talk about how this franchise is the top grossing media franchise of all time. Period. Number one.
Makes sense, 1,000%.
Do you know what number two is?
In terms of medias in general?
All types of media coverage. Let me see the list. It's a huge list of... It's games, movies, TV shows, merchandise, everything across the board.
I'm going to guess Star Wars.
Nope.
Marvels?
Nope. Marvels.
Marvel in general.
Nope. I'll say Star Wars is number 5. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I do not know that.
Number 2 is the Sanryu, a.k.a. Hello Kitty franchise. Yeah, I have a Botsmaru in the little black penguin asshole in my car right now. Yeah, my mom and my sister love the Sanryu series. There's tons of like those cute things. They just had a recent collab with Overwatch and stuff like that. Yeah, they are the number 2 after Pokemon.
That is.
Yeah, number 3 is I was surprised at, honestly. Guess.
I have no idea.
Yeah, anything. Guess a big major franchise.
I've already guessed the 2 I got. The only 2 I can think of.
All right. Number 3, Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, I should have
Top grossing media franchise.
That makes sense.
I mean, I guess. It's surprising that it's more popular than number 4. You could probably guess this one.
That's not Marvel?
No.
I don't know that.
Mickey Mouse.
Okay, I don't know why I'm not thinking...
Disney?
I'm not just...
It's not Disney, but it's specifically Mickey Mouse.
See, I'm thinking so hard into video games and movies.
Yeah, but it's everything, like merchandise, rights, and games, and T-shirts, and hats, and everything.
I should have guessed those, but...
Yeah, and then number 5, like I said, is Star Wars. After that, and then, which of course, the middle 3 I just mentioned, Winnie the Pooh, Mickey, and Star Wars, all owned by Disney. Pokemon owned by the Pokemon Company. Hello Kitty, Sanryu is owned by their own company as well. Number 6, last one I have on here. We mentioned it a couple times already. We mentioned it for a while on this series already.
I got no idea.
I'll hint that the main thing that it's known for is video games.
You just gotta tell me because I'm gonna...
Yeah, we've been drinking a bunch.
Yeah.
It is Mario at number 6.
Okay, that...
Yeah.
I can't read it.
Yeah, no, like I said, media franchise in terms of games, movies, TV shows, merchandise, amusement park, theme rides, fucking everything.
Mario Brothers. To
Yeah, so now, with that little, ranking of all that, what we would get into now would be the anime. Specifically, the anime series of Pokemon. But we can call the first episode here since we have a lot of parts to do.
What are we at time-wise?
Take a guess, Ipo.
You said about 2:45?
We are at 2:38.
2:38?
Yeah, so with some quick plugs, we can hit 2:40 and call it a short one.
So, yeah, because the anime is...
Yeah, I have a lot of notes for the anime.
It's a lot. And, ironically, a lot of the mid stuff I'm not as detailed on. So, the OG and Orange and even a bit of Johto, and then there's a big gap, and then Sun and Moon was big.
Oh yeah, I'll be honest. What I did was I found a 12-hour YouTube video chronicling Ash's journey from episode 1 to his last episode winning the championship.
Which I do know enough about that one.
Oh yeah, I know I have his team and everything like that. But yeah,
I tear up when I see the final.
Yeah, the team, the lineup. Yeah.
Well, not even that, just the straight up the fight, which we'll get into it. But Leon is a character I think people do not give the respect to. I love Leon. I think Leon is awesome.
I mean, Hop sucks.
I disagree on that too.
Well,
I like.
Well, hey, we have our shit. We can talk. Like I said, we can do the middle. We can call this one as a short bit. This is about as long as our early episodes were. Honestly, we haven't even talked about Pokemon yet, though.
So.
And also, we do have all the parts with our friends. We still have not had a chance to listen through all of our friends' interviews. A little bit more time for our thoughts on the movie to coagulate a little bit.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right.
So, but I guess let's do a quick summary on anime.
I mean, we could rank the movie now if you want to spoil it.
No. I'm just saying, we talked about animated films. We talked about
video game movies, video game friend TV shows adaptations.
Yeah, and then also Monster Hunter things.
Pokemon ripoffs and spin-offs and.
So I kind of want to. I think it would be interesting to do a quick little summary of our maybe thoughts on not just what Pokemon in general.
What Pokemon is as an anime movie, a video game movie.
About connecting it to the theme of the podcast of bad things. How could we?
Oh yeah.
This is our second literal animated film.
Yeah.
This is technically if you count.
I mean, it's
our third video game film.
Yeah. And
it's only our. I mean, if you count Digimon, it's we really do, there's very few things that connect to it. So I think kind of tossing into those three things. I think it'd be fun to share our thoughts on ironically I think why we don't think we talk about it as much.
Yeah, I mean we could talk about Pokemon as much.
No, just in general we don't have any animated films really. So why don't there are bad animated films.
There's many ones. Yeah,
but we don't talk about them. We don't think about them. They're not Troll 2 level, Birdemic level, The Room level.
I mean, what's a shitty 2D animated movie? Like, what was that? There's also a lot of weird ones that I have no fucking, like, what was it, that Mad God claymation movie? I hate claymation.
I don't know that one. I know
it's a horror movie that's really ugly.
Fight.
Oh, God. Yeah, that kind of shit is so gross to me that I don't even want to look at it. Because, what was the other one? Killer Bean Forever? Or Killer Bean, have you seen that series?
No.
It's by the one of the like choreographer or the action director of the Matrix series, but it's like a YMS Your Movie Sucks covered the Killer Bean movie, and there's also a shit ton of games based on that series. But it's like it's like everyone's like coffee beans, and they all do like really elaborate, overly was it like the fucking suit with the like what's it called? Not choreographed, but like the mocap like kung fu fight scenes and gun things. It like tries to be so cool, but it's so like
lame.
Steven Seagal coded action, but they're also fucking talking cartoon coffee beans.
Like, I think I feel like ironically a movie that doesn't get talked about because it's memed a bunch.
Yeah,
the Beat movie.
Yeah, you like jazz and all that, and he's trying to
jazz?
Yeah, fucking Jerry Seinfeld trying to fuck a lady even though he's a fucking 2-inch bee.
Yeah, and like, I think it is I think, unfortunately, because animated films are so often, the few that are made for adults are given care and love.
Yeah.
So I think that, even ones that are made for kids, but, like K-pop Demon Hunters is technically a quote-unquote kids film, but it was made for everybody kind of thing. So a lot of care was put into these. But a lot of times, like, the most you can say about a lot of animated films is they're generic.
I mean, there's a lot of like ugly pieces of shit. Also, like I think George Lucas directed Delgo. Remember Delgo?
No. It
was that really ugly dinosaur-looking movie. You don't remember that from the aughts?
It somewhat seems familiar.
It's a very ugly-looking movie. I heard it's very boring as well. A lot of like major actors and stuff did voices and stuff for it, but it was completely forgotten because it was so like ugly and generic. Remember that a little bit ago that Pauly Shore Pinocchio movie where like he played like a very fey, effeminate coded Pinocchio.
I feel like I heard about that, but
it was coming out at the same time as like Del Toro's Pinocchio movie and like the Netflix thing. It was like a bunch of like there were like literally 2 or 3 Pinocchio things coming out of like within like a couple of months. And like that was like the shittiest looking one, and everyone like dunked on it for looking shitty, and like the line was like, "Father, I'm trying to go out on my own." It's like so weird. It's like meme to shit.
Oh god.
Food Fight. I never saw it personally, but I've seen bits of it, which
I've seen reviews of it.
Yeah.
Like this, I just feel like. I think too, like, again, a lot of them are made for kids, so I think not only do like a lot of adults maybe like not get it, but it's easy to dismiss as, oh well, this is for kids and kids will like it. And I will say too, I think that there is somewhat sometimes a truth to that in some of these movies, whereas like as adults, especially when we're looking for certain things, it's easy to look at and be like, I can't believe it, but kids are able to enjoy, they're not as heavy into the details on things, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like, we can look at so many films and be like, oh, it's easy to hate on these things. But it's like, no, kids like them.
Yeah.
And there's something about that it makes them sometimes critical proof or critique proof.
I would say probably most animated movies that make it into like theaters are probably very, very heavily screened, as opposed to like the tons and tons of what would be the equivalent of like shovelware, straight to DVD, ugly, fucking poorly acted, poorly drawn, poorly animated, like fucking crap that you can see on like back in the day. You see tons and tons of on shelves, like even to the like your Blockbuster days. I'm sure you walked by like dozens and dozens of animated movies straight to DVD that you like never even thought about because they were like so poorly done.
And I think even too, like Disney did that for a while with sequels to like
but hey, some of those sequels I will legit defend as liking more than the original.
Oh, there's definitely some that are good. There are some that are they're very generic.
Yeah,
and there's things that you could critique on them. But like again, they're kids' films or they're connected enough to it. And it's like, and because I think too like they're low budgeted, I think I think it's in general animated films are looked at differently. Like a low budget animation film is you can look at it and say, oh well, there's clearly not as much effort put into it, so I'm going to try to look at the certain things here or there, give it what leeway. Whereas like some films like. It's kind of like too, like why like a bad horror, like a low budget horror film can still be good or enjoyable even if it's bad. Whereas like a comedy that doesn't.
Also, bringing it back to back to what I always tell you, Ed, but for some reason you don't listen to me, because a bad. Like I said, I quoted it at the beginning of our episodes last one we did with Old Dogs. A bad horror movie or a bad romance, that's great. A bad action movie or a bad drama, that's even better. A bad comedy, just boring. I think when I just Googled like bad animated movies, I see 1,000 fake fucking Disney ripoffs or like princess movies or fake Ratatouille movies or like all kinds of shit like that. There's a shit ton of them, and like even just thinking about a bad animated movie like somehow drained me more than thinking about having to watch another bad comedy. I'm like, that seems like it'd be a bad comedy like somehow worse. I don't even know why. I don't have some kind of weird prejudice against animated films in my brain, like some kind of subconscious thing, but I'm like, I'm more pissed off about having to waste my time watching a bad animated movie than I am about watching a bad comedy as opposed to a bad any other genre that might be good. But also there's a lot of bad like animated horror movies that I've seen like that are just fucking real pieces of shit. Also, I was going to say, forever ago on the podcast, probably way back in Warcraft, like 2 years ago now, or maybe more, when I remember a friend of the podcast who we're going to hear from in one of our following episodes, Ben, did pitch a animated movie. What the hell was the director? The dude, is it Rodriguez? The World of El Super Bisto.
Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez. I think he did that movie. Yeah, El Super Bisto. It's a movie from his like animated series, but like I remember you shut down that movie. You shut down his pitch immediately because he's not one of the co-hosts on this channel. But like that movie, I remember seeing it forever ago. It's another like mid movie. And also when you just mentioned Disney sequels and tried to put them down, I was just like, wait a second, because I remember my sister loves Lion King 2: Simba's Pride more than the other one, hands down. And I was like, wait, was that movie badly? We could probably do that movie for the podcast if it was badly received. It has like a 67 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I remember I love that movie. Some of the music in that movie I think is, like I said, better than the first Lion King movie. Kovu's the name of my cat because Kovu's such a fucking awesome character. All of the fucking the Evil Lion crew with her, like the mother and the two Andy Dick brother and all that kind of shit.
I think it's like when you look at the animated films, though, I think it's easy to. It's also easy to bear. I feel like they're a lot easier to bury, too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because people don't, like I said, maybe some kind of weird subconscious prejudice, like that's somehow worse because it's animated and bad than just a bad movie in general. It might be more of a boring waste of time, potentially, because it's animated, which shouldn't be the way that you think about it.
And I think, especially, too, I think nowadays with the way AI is just infecting.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't imagine.
The amount of slop we're getting.
Oh, yeah, it'd be insane.
Like, especially for us now, it's like just hard to, even if we look back at only a true animated film before AI, it's so hard to connect, to break away from some of these things at times. I think... It's just harder to find animated stuff too, because I think it's also easy to look at certain films and see, oh well, there's John Travolta and Robin Williams in it, or there's a Nicolas Cage, or there's a big face in it that it's like, oh, their face, I can connect to it, and that helps me get into it or give it a shot. Whereas you don't always get that with these animated films, so what we're seeing is these. Sometimes badly drawn or creepy looking things. Yeah. So it's easier to just forget about it because it's like, oh, I'm just not going to remember that. I remember Nicolas Cage on the cover. I remember these people on the cover. I remember these big faces.
Yeah, that kind of goes into like I forgot which. I don't know if it was 30 Rock or The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but there was some kind of bit about like the hiring famous voice actors or actors to play like animated characters. There was like some kind of movie where there was some kind of like a review thing where they're having the kids do a test screening of a movie, and they're like, "Oh, here's the kids. What do you think about the movie?" Like, I don't know. I thought it was kind of stupid. Like, I thought that the hot dog character was really like lame. Like, oh, the raccoon guy was really stupid. And it's like, okay, well, well, how did you feel about the talking hair that was voiced by Jeremy Renner? And the kids were like, oh, well, I really enjoyed it because he was in the movie. It's just like who gives a shit if like I mean, like in modern times, like really celebrity voice actors is more. I don't even know. I mean, there are too many casual people who like it doesn't affect or they maybe enjoy that kind of thing, but like. Any savvy media enjoyer is like immediately like eye rolls at that kind of thing. I mean, but if it was just
Chris
like
Pratt at this point?
Chris Pratt's huge meme because of all the fucking characters he voices. But if they listed like fucking a bunch of voice actors that like the regular Joe in no way in hell would ever recognize by their name, like it's like Stephen Bloom and Monica Rial and Laura Bailey are in this movie, like. Shit ton of nerdy millennials will be like, "Oh hell yeah!" Then I think anime they got real voice actors, but like or the average dickhead,
hearing D. Bradley Baker,
D. Bradley Baker, or but like they say like the average moviegoer, the average person who doesn't follow that shit will be like, "What? Why isn't John Travolta? Or why isn't fucking Brad Pitt voicing this animated fucking man or whatever the hell?" It's just like, what the fuck does that affect your enjoyment of the movie at all, like if a non-voice actor twists a character, but it still gets names and seats and all that kind of shit. And a lot of the shitty bad movies like Food Fight or like Delgo have like full casts of like from top to bottom, top bill to the end, all like major Hollywood actors voicing these weird shitty things just because it's like, they literally record them like in their house probably on their phone, like not giving a shit, but like still like that still attracts people more than just a quality movie that no one's ever heard of, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think it's sad too because like I think there are actors who can do voice acting. Like honestly, I think Jack Black is really good. Yeah,
he's fantastic.
Like not even before Mario, but like also too like I think Charlie Day is a good one, and then
those are unique people who can add real. Crazy dynamic energy to the character on top of just like voice acting. Like they're actors, but they are also incredibly good voice actors.
Something I was literally thinking about that was like I know I've heard and seen in movies doing voice acting, and it's like, oh, they're really good at these things, and I cannot remember their name all of a sudden. I don't remember the second we're done recording for the night.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes.
But they're fuck, I can't. I'm trying to remember who it was, and it's gonna drive me fucking wild. Fuck. But like there are I think like there are like Gilbert. I mean, there are some people who I think that don't need to change their voice. Like Gilbert Gottfried did not need to ever change his voice because it was so distinct.
Yeah.
And everything, but there are I know he does some acting, but he does a lot of voice acting. The guy does Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Oh yeah. Is that John Barrowfall? No, that's not them.
But you hear him in everything he does. He's the same voice, but it's a distinct voice kind of thing.
Oh yeah, so he's a wildly distinct voice. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there are those, but then there are actors who are able to like bring. Oh, actually, no, I'm not even thinking of this. It's fuck, and I'm forgetting her name. Stephanie Beatrice. She is somebody who I think is great.
H. John Benjamin is the voice of him, but yeah, who's Stephanie Beatrice then?
So she is Rosa Diaz in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
The really badass.
Oh detective. Vaggie from Hell of a Boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
And her voice in that is not her real voice.
And also
she's Mirabelle.
Yeah.
In Encanto.
Yeah,
and she's got that. And her real voice is really high pitched and like very like soft and sweet and upbeat. But then like to see her in real life in some of these roles, I feel like that's someone who is like she's clearly able to act and do these great impressions and voices while also having a distinct and a very like almost unrecognizable voice at times.
Yeah.
Like unless you know that's her doing it, it is. If you listen to Mirabelle, she goes away. Her
100%, yeah.
Completely goes away. And anything too, like ironically, like some people like Ron Perlman and Morgan Freeman, like who again have distinct but like strong voices. We know them nowadays, but I think that they are actors who, voice acting wise, bring something because their voices are so strong, and it's because we've seen them that it allows us to picture them at times. But we still hear these great voices. I agree, because I will say with Chris Pratt, the annoying thing is I don't think he's terrible. Like, I thought in Lego Movie, I thought he did a good job.
He's a funny actor. It's just a weird choice for a person who doesn't... He has a very generic voice guy, just a popular, regular, straight white male actor that they keep putting in all these roles that could be filled by literally anybody, but his just name is famous, I think. I think, but I remember Ron Perlman said the very first Fallout, they like fucking paid him like $50 in a sandwich to voice the intro thing, and then they just brought him back for every single like series after that, and he still gets like, I don't know if he gets like residuals or anything like that from it, but like he said like literally the first time like they literally pretty much just like grabbed him from like the studio and like had him do it and like literally gave him like nothing to do it, and he did it, and they've been doing them ever since, and now like, you know, fucking 30 years later, he's in the fucking TV show for the thing. Another funny one, Ray Liotta, huge actor in a shit ton of movies. I think did he pass away? I can't remember.
Oh, there's no way to find out, I'm sure.
Impossible to know. But Ray Liotta talks about voicing Tommy Vercetti in GTA Vice City.
He died in 2022.
Yeah, okay, that's unfortunate. But yeah, he's talked about like on interviews and stuff like that. He's like people come up to, he's a massive Hollywood actor who's been in a dozen movies that have like been incredibly famous. But he says like, yeah, I was paid like, I had like showed up in the studio, I recorded like most of Tommy's lines in like no time, but like the amount of popularity that movie, he's like, these video games. What?
Which movie game?
Oh, Vice City, GTA
Okay.
Vice City. Yeah, he plays Tommy Vercetti, the main guy in Vice City, and he was just like, yeah, I recorded those lines, I did that bit, I didn't expect it to make anything, but like these video game things are really, you know, popping off. That game came out in like what, 2002 or 3. It was huge, and it, like he said, it made as much as a ton of his fucking most biggest movies have made, and he was like shocked at that because it was just a video game job that he did like for almost peanuts, and it's like, yeah, voice acting is very, very important, and it's,
you know, ironically too, like a voice actor who, you know, talk about like kind of in that same vein, like Johnny Gat. Like the fact that
Daniel Day Kim, the fucking one of the he's fucking been in a 1,000 characters in Avatar over the years.
But I mean, he's got a huge like discography.
Yeah, I think he might legit be an Avatar fan because he's played like 20 like named important characters over the course of like Avatar, and then he's Ozai in the Netflix show.
Yeah,
very funny.
He's in quarter here. It's,
he's the fucking father. Yeah, he's Sato's father. He's the father. He's the Sami's father. He was the general who tried to kill Qatar to make Avatar and go to the Avatar state. He's just been in a ton of stuff. He's great.
Yeah,
like, Daniel Kim's wonderful. And
and even too, like Mark Hamill's another guy.
Of course, yeah. Like after Star Wars kind of like, you know, blew his career up, he wasn't getting many roles outside of that, but then fucking Joker came around and he's been doing tons of voice acting and he loves doing it. He probably doesn't need to do it financially. He just loves doing it because he's iconic for fucking Joker for like fucking 40 years.
I mean, he's literally like, I feel like if like anytime you hear someone animated not be Mark Hamill, you instantly know that people like complain about that.
Of course, yeah.
You know, I like I said, I think you can bring that. It's just you have to care. I think that's the thing about these. Sometimes, like, you get, like, the food fights, and it's like, you can tell when people care and I don't. And that's why I think, too, like, I didn't care. They're so disjointed in a lot that it's hard to tell in the second. But I will say, I feel like, you know, talking about Chris Pratt again in Super Mario movie, the first one, I feel like he cared. I will give him credit.
I think he put in more effort because people were criticizing him. I think that's one of the first times he was really, like, giving shit about getting a voice role. Yeah. And so he really pulled it together and did a fun character.
And that's where I think, too, like, you know, we talk about criticism and things. I think that, like, some of the discourse around that was probably pretty bad.
Of course.
But, I mean, I think Sonic and Ugly Sonic is proof that, like, criticism and joking on something so much is worth, sometimes it is beneficial. Because, like, the amount of jokes and memes we got about Ugly Sonic, like, gave us good Sonic. And genuine.
And a great video game franchise we didn't even talk about because I've not seen past the first movie. But, like...
It's, like, I mean, I remember memes of, like, Linda Belcher being Mario.
Yeah.
And everything is, like, I think that it, you know, it's important sometimes to, like, make sure people know, like, if you joke and clown on it, there's, again, people go too far. And
of course, yeah.
But I think, like, sometimes, like...
fan entitlement and all that.
And I think that, but I think that there's sometimes, too, like, you know, we may only get a snippet of things here and there, but you know what? The fans' reaction is important to an extent because, like, you don't need to placate them, but you need to hear what they're saying.
Of course.
Especially, like, when you're talking to actual fans.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I think, like, why... Sometimes too, like we joked on the one guy with the Starfield with the fucking pronouns, you know, whatever, and like Asmongold's another new one now. Fuck that Nazi shithead.
Yeah, he's a fucking shithead.
But like some of those guys who like just are hard reactionary to like stuff, they're not
grifters and people they're scamming people. Yeah,
they're like there's a difference between a grifter who's popular and fan reaction.
Yeah.
One person saying something is not like what the fan base says, but when the fan base is making and sharing these memes and jokes, like that tells you more. Because I think we've talked about it too. Like fans are the best critics.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like that's why like The Last Jedi still pisses me off, as we talked about, is because they listen to the grifters.
Yeah.
And not the fans. Because the fans could have told you what was wrong. The fans could have directed you and told you what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah.
And I think listening to critics, fans who didn't like it, is going to tell you so much more.
Yeah.
And even too, I think the grifters, the things they liked at times, sometimes, depending on the grifting that they're doing, can tell you what is good about something.
Yeah, it depends on where their thoughts and stuff are coming from. But yeah, it's a very difficult thing, and like I said, I picked this movie because it was relatively poorly received in terms of animated movies, but also I knew it would give us great discussions. Oh, yeah. But like I said, the idea of watching a truly shitty animated comedy or something like that, like this isn't a comedy, this is an anime. This is like a poorly received movie, but also it's still an anime movie, which means it's beautifully animated. It's also an action thing based on a video game franchise, so there's good action and good stuff like that, at least to talk about.
I think that's another thing about animated films too, is like there are two things. They are so bad that you literally can't physically not watch it, or even if it's bad, at least it looks pretty.
Yeah, there's at least a pretty looking thing.
The amount of effort that gets put in.
Yeah, of course.
And bad story writing and bad lines and bad everything can still be, shot. You can get that turd shiny, and there's still a shine to it with good animation.
Of course.
I will say too, like I feel like video games. We can talk more about video game topics and all that later on, but like with monster chaining things, like especially in the gaming sphere.
Yeah.
It is funny because I think the problem is like a lot of them try to be Pokemon.
Yeah, they don't try to be their own distinct thing. Like I said, like the Digimon games, I fucking love to death, and I think like I said, they look significantly better. The story is significantly more mature. Mm-hmm. And I think it's more of an aspect if you like cute things or if you like dinosaurs made of guns. But still,
too, like a lot of the Digimon games haven't you. Are you able, how many games comparatively are you able to make your own character versus you play like a character?
Oh no, you never make your character. You're either playing as generic. Yeah, like you're either playing as a generic anime boy, or you have the choice between generic anime boy or generic anime girl. You do not get to.
But like even Pokemon, where like even before like you were playing as like even in Gen 3 where you're playing as Brendan or May, like they still feel like your trainer.
Of course, yeah,
kind of thing.
More distinct, but also they're silent protagonists. Which is another thing but also the Digimon games are also silent protagonists, which is a little bit more weird because, like I said, they're more narrative.
Persona kind of has it.
Yeah. Well, no, you do respond to people in that game at least.
You do in some of these games, but like there's still like even if you respond, you're still silent in a way, quote unquote. And I think that's where a lot of these games again they try to be just Pokemon, or they fail to realize like.
Like I said, Temtem and Cassette Beasts and some aspects of Palworld. Like the fact that they do or Nexomon. The fact that they mirror Pokemon so closely is probably why I fell off of all those, but didn't fall off of the other things. So.
And I think too, honestly, I think the best way to make a Pokemon-esque game would be to look at some of the spin-offs and create a spin-off of those. So like. Pokemon Conquest. We'll talk more about some of these.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of thoughts.
But like Pokemon Conquest is a game where like, I guess that is just very similar to like Fire Emblem, but like
it's a specific. What the fuck is it? Nobunaga's Ambition, I think, is the name of the actual like franchise. It's like a spin-off of.
But like the idea of like, almost honestly, you could. I don't know much about JoJo's art. Sure, but like you get like one person who has like a one partner or power thing, right? Yeah. I mean,
the stands and all that.
So finding a combination of that, where it's like a person finds or inherits like a beast or monster like thing, and that's their quote unquote avatar to fight with that they can then influence. I mean, you get that, or looking at like You know,
I mean, talking about spin-offs of the knockoffs, Temtem does have a new spin-off game that came out like this year. It's actually a Vampire Survivors like. So it's like, I think it's like maybe like I'm assuming like 4 to 6 or so of the Temtems like are in a scenario where they are like Vampire Survivors running around killing like hordes and hordes of like enemy Temtems and stuff like that, just like in a big like run around auto battle thing. I think I've heard it was pretty really like well received. So yeah, if they do more spin-offs of their own franchise and try to like market their creatures, which is the main draw of Pokemon, more so than the quality of the games, even though the games do wildly successfully, the actual characters themselves. Actually, yeah, we'll get into that discussion later because like one of the things people say is like, yeah, it's the games are great, the anime is watched by people very often, but the real thing is the Pokemon who are that's the characters that people actually invest in. Like that's what makes it personal. That's what makes it probably successful over most of these other ones that don't have as specifically iconic 1025 iconic,
and that's just like
fun designs.
Generic. Like again, we're not even talking about forms. Like, or I mentioned earlier, Oricordio's got.
Yeah.
That was when we were last recording. Sorry, Oricordio has 4 different types of forms.
Yeah.
You also have like a Raichu, like the Alolan and
the Mega
Evolutions,
Evolutions,
the
the
Galar and
variants,
Hisuian form. Like they're technically the same number.
Yeah.
But they're split. So like.
Yeah, like I said, and of course the main premise when we ever get to Pokemon will be the whole premise of every Pokemon is somebody's favorite, which I'm sure can't be said for most Temtems or Nexomon or even Digimon, who a lot of them do have a lot of people's favorites. But yeah, it's the character design along with everything else about it. But that's for another episode and another discussion. Animated movies, video game movies, knockoffs. Just
I think
so many aspects.
I think Monster Tamer. It's. I also think too, like people don't want to touch it because it is. Because
there's one king of the genre, and there's a couple of number 2s and 3s, but just like obviously the iconic statement of Cliff Bleszinski when he was making his shitty battle royale 80s game that like flopped immediately and was like completely erased and killed. He said, hey, for every major successful genre, there is a number 1. And maybe a number 2, but there is always a spot for the number 3, spot for the next most famous thing in that genre. Even if you can't be the number 2, or even especially not the number 1, you can always try to aim for the third most popular one. And of course, like I said, he made a piece of shit game that completely flopped, and nobody's beating PUBG or Fortnite. But still, there's always room for a 2 or a 3 in that area.
Well, I mean, I think if you look at what those did, I mean, you take. What's that? It starts with an A. It's just another similar one.
Apex Legends?
Yes, Apex Legends.
Yeah, that's number 3.
So, but you look at, even PUBG and Fortnite are different.
Significantly.
Right, and they are, but they're both battle royales.
Yeah.
So I think the reason why you get games that don't succeed is when you try to make Fortnite.
Yeah. When you ape them poorly.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm sure I said this in previous. It's like when you look at Rocky Horror Picture Show remake.
Yeah.
Like when they made the Fox one, I think some of the best parts were when they deviated from stuff, design wise and all that. And it was more memorable. The opening itself, they instead of just the lips, they have this actual usherette going through stuff, and it is really well.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. Yeah, because if I'm remaking something, even too, when I'm acting out, why am I trying to recreate something that already exists and it's quote unquote perfected? I want to bring something that is not on the screen that they can't do. I want to bring something in that you can't see, and I think that's where these things need to explore more. I mean, that's what fan games are able to do in a way, and I think that again, I think you could build a brand new monster taming franchise akin to Pokemon, and I think the problem is that when you look at Pokemon and say, I want to make a Pokemon but my own, you've already failed. Yeah. You need to look to make, okay, what does Pokemon do? What does Pokemon not do? What does it do that I can put into a game that it can't? Yeah. Or bring to it that it can't.
I'm sure some things like the Temtem Double Battle and always the multiplayer MMO thing was their ideas, which is probably why they're nowhere near Yokai Watch even probably, but they're significantly different enough, and I believe the game is still going fairly well with some. I think I don't know if it's free to play or not. I can't remember.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, there's no way to know. Anyway,
there's no way to know.
Which it's difficult. It's a big genre, but of course, like I said, we've circled around it so fucking much that Pokemon is so absurdly massive that we will possibly get into it next time. But so ready to wrap the episode up for this bit?
Sure, why not?
All right, what do you think we're at?
3 hours.
3:12.
Hey.
Yep. So let's give our pluggy plugs. Call this bad boy for the time being.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Of course. Fine. Why not? Matthew Lewis Podcast, Patreon. Matthew Lewis Podcast, YouTube. Matthew Lewis Podcast, Twitch. Matthew Lewis Podcast, something else. I don't know. Blue Sky. Yeah, Blue Sky. Of course, Forgotten Minotaur King book. Go buy it. Action Toon Bros, go listen to it. Movie Garbage, go listen to it. The YouTube channel, subscribe to that. Do all the plugs, keep all that stuff up. And remember, this is probably going to air sometime in September.
I would say the only place I really mod is at Twitch at Father_Bohawk. Right now I'm still working on my champion lock. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at. You can go watch and figure that out. And I'm sure eventually I'll make YouTube videos of my own. But I'm going to put a little challenge here to anyone who's listened this far.
Yeah.
So all y'all listened all the way through these 3 hours of us talking about not Pokemon, this Pokemon episode. Let's see what we get. Potentially, want to know what the most Pokemon-esque game that you played that you liked the most outside of Pokemon. So like, if it was a Digimon game, which one was it? If it was one you mentioned, if it's one we haven't heard of, I want to hear that. And then also, I want to know everybody's... So I want to say favorite Pokemon, but I think the best would be... So I want to know what your favorite type is. So put the game that's most Pokemon adjacent that you play that you enjoy, and then also your favorite type of Pokemon. And it can be any gen. You can be Dark, Steel, or Fairy as well. We're no Gen 1-ers here.
Yeah, I know.
So... But yeah, put those in the comments, and that way we can, by the time, we won't be able to reference it for a while. But
yeah, not for months, but still.
So, and hey, who the hell knows when we'll reference it? But hey, the craziest one, I'm sure will get mentioned someday.
Yeah.
In probably what, December, January.
Yeah, sometime 2027. I'm sure. After I take my break from my month-long break from work to play GTA 6 all day.
What's that supposed to come out?
November 17th.
Oh, that's his release date?
Yeah, it's been had a release date. Yeah. But of course, the big glut of 1,000 things coming up in September, which is gonna suck for a lot of people. But play what you can, enjoy what you can, enjoy September. I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep it sleazy, Pokemon trainers.
In October, I'm hoping that I might be able to, depending on how the time goes off with my time off and when they're at and where they're at and potential things like because I've mentioned I love to help out with soap girls.
Oh yeah.
So I'm hoping that the stars align and I'll be able to join them on their tour and come
out. Yeah.
It's like a roadie and or merch guy.
Oh fuck yeah.
Because they were mentioning the drummer didn't talk to them in the van and all this, and I was like, they would fire me because I would talk to them too much. I can't imagine getting to hang out with them more than I just not want to talk to them.
Yeah,
I could understand like, hey, let me rest for a little bit and we'll talk in a bit, no problem or whatnot. But like, I can't imagine I want to talk with them. They're so fucking cool. Fucking awesome. So shout out to the Soap Girls.
Shout out to the Soap Girls.
So I hope you guys are. By the time this airs, they'll be out of the U.S. I'm sure, and part of the Euro and all that, and hopefully coming back soon. And you guys are awesome.
Hell yeah.
Father_Bohawk on Twitch. Champion Lock. Boom.
Champion Locks, hell yeah. Pokemon. To be a master. I was going to play that. Oh, did you have the CD? I guess we'll talk about Pokemon next. We'll talk about Pokemon next time.
I think, the cassettes. I don't know if I still have it, but I think, the cassette of that To Be a Master.
Oh, nice. Well, hopefully, maybe we'll start with that next time if we remember. See you guys later.
Team Rocket's Rocket, talking trouble, talking trouble. Big trouble's gonna find you in the next part.